Now you'll realize that there's so much more to the book than the page you were stuck on. Finally, you will be free to live a life you love living instead of the life you think other people want you to live. Remember, you are the highest authority when it comes to knowing what you want and what you love. So stop trading yourself for the approval from others. Ladies and gentlemen, weirdos and geeks, please repeat after me. I don't give a fuck.
Target acquired.
Eagle 1, first strike. You have permission to engage the target.
Warning: the following video contains explicit language which may be offensive to some viewers or inappropriate for children. The content within this video is intended for mature audiences only.
What's up, everybody? Sorry, I'm having some technical difficulties, and I don't know why. But we'll get it. We'll get it there. It's all good. How is everyone out there? Chaotic, I can throw the I'll throw the link in the chat really quick. It's not going to never mind, he's got it. He's on it. He is on it. All right. Sorry, guys. I'm just having a momentary lapse of something wrong going on. That's all right. Whatever. It'll be fine. I'll just pull this down here a second. There we go. Got it. How is everyone tonight? We got a good mic. Everything good? Good mic. There we go. Hey, Glenn Lawrence has made it. Maybe.
Yo.
What's up, Glenn?
What up, Grid?
What's up, man?
Not much. How you living?
Dude, I am I'm actually, I think my kid is starting to give me a cold, man. I'm not kidding. Like, I was fine and I went to pick up my kids. and I come back, I got I'm starting to get a tickle in the throat, you know.
Those little germ bags.
I know, man. I know it's terrible. That is
Like
what it
shit,
is.
like feeding them and taking care of them is not enough. They have to share
Yeah,
share
well,
with
I mean, you know better
germs
than
too.
that. Come on now. Come on now. You know better. Chaotic truth will be up here in a few minutes. I'm sure that when the first time people use Streamlabs versus StreamYard, they get a little out of.
Oh man, the three of us on the panel on one time. Oh, that's
Yeah.
gonna be
Well,
bad.
and
that's
Jess
gonna be a
wanted to come
fucking-
up too. You know, the topic of the show tonight
Is
and
hoes.
we'll get into that in a few minutes. I got something else I want to talk to you about. But
These hoes ain't loyal.
sorry.
Is it these hoes ain't loyal? No.
No, I hate it, man. I hate it. How do you live with what you might call a warrior woman? How do you live with that?
What is the definition of a warrior woman?
Well, we can define that. We can define that. As a matter of fact, I intend to define that.
We're defining it on our own, or like we're coming up with.
I'm defining it because, but I think that there's a lot of different ways that people choose to define it, and I guess part of this comes from, you know, I've been watching some of the, and I know I shouldn't do this, but I've been watching some of the red pill people that, you know, man,
it's warrior woman. That's a term I haven't heard of.
Well, I came up with that term.
Oh, okay.
I came up with that term. That's my term.
Copy.
But basically, you know how a lot of the red pill guys, they really do not they don't really like having the
well, there goes the neighborhood.
Dude, he's got the hat and everything.
I know. I'm waiting for him to hear me though, so I could talk my shit.
Hey Greg, can you hear me?
I can hear you fine, brother.
I can't hear you. Hold on, let me try to see. I this is a different platform than I
know.
You know what? Message him in the chat. Mess him in the private chat to change it. It has to go to the audio settings.
All right, we should be good.
You good?
Yeah, we're good now. There we
go.
Well, there goes the neighborhood.
Okay.
I can hear you. Yeah.
All right. So, and anyway, so I was in some red pill spaces because, you know, I go a bunch of different places, man. I'm all over the place. And one of the things they're always talking about how you just really can't have these strong women. You know, they don't, you know, women has to be submissive. They have to be this, they have to be that. They have all these prescriptors depending on who you're looking at, right? The descriptors kind of change. And you know that, Glenn. I mean, you've been in the space for 20 years.
I mean, that whole thing is so contextual.
It is. That's absolutely right. It is. That's a great word for it too, contextual. And so at the end of this messed up, man. Playing with stuff. But so like my wife, and I'm just gonna pick on my wife for a moment. My wife, as you know, is a very strong woman. You know, my wife, and she is submissive only to me. I've never seen her give anybody else anything but grief, to be honest with you. You know, she's strong. And when I think back to my parents, you know, that's the way my stepdad talked about my mom. That's the way my mom talked about my grandmother. So my grandfather talked about my grandmother. You know, they were very submissive in the household, but outside of that, they were as strong as they needed to be. You know,
as they should be.
You know, my grandmother was a Rosie the Riveter, World War II. You know, and all kinds of things like that. So if you are in a ritual space, you are, you know, you're probably thinking that you know, that's somewhat wrong, right?
What is somewhat wrong?
I think the idea that women shouldn't be strong is wrong. I gotta move. I gotta remember how to move that.
I think that's absolutely incorrect. Actually,
you think so?
I mean, if the red pill is if that's the way that they're painting it out now, I definitely think that it's wrong.
But you've heard them say that.
Well, I have heard them say that they want your woman to be submissive, like in general, right, and to have an agreeable, attitude, right?
Yeah,
but
I think the agreeable attitude is part of it.
But I never took that as like she has to be submissive and not be a strong woman outside of me. But I mean, I could be wrong because I haven't been listening to any red pill stuff lately. I've been the red pill stuff.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, it's just an interesting thing. I think I froze for some reason. I don't know.
I thought it was my computer that froze you. I was like, what the hell?
No, man, it looks like I froze. I don't know why. Camera's good. Computer's good. I don't know what's going on. Chaotic Man, welcome. Sorry, we just kind of jumped into it. I didn't actually mean to jump into it like that. It just kind of happened that way. Put me back up there. Did that work? Nothing. Nothing's working for me, man. I don't know what happened to me. That's all right.
What's going on, man?
Everything's good, man. How are you?
Pretty good. A little bit tired, man. But I believe it or not, I'm not a night person. But hey, man, I'm racking it out.
It's I'm sorry. I've been trying to get you on you've been blowing through on the day shows a couple of times, but
yeah.
But that's okay. It's all good, man. I don't know why I'm frozen.
We'll just let it go.
The camera's fine. I don't know. I don't know what's happening. Let me do this. And I'll do this. It's still frozen. That's funny. So yeah, I know the camera's frozen, guys. The camera itself is working fine. There's something going on here. Oh wait, stand by. You may have jacked up. Nope, I'm good there. Well, whatever. Let me see. Nope. I'm scuffed, bro. I'm scuffed. All right. Anyway, so I'm gonna divert a little bit from my subject tonight. And Chaotic Truth, man, I'd like to ask you, man, how did you get started in this? Where are you going with it? You have a great show, man. I really enjoy being on it.
Well, I'll tell you, man. I missed my calling in life, Greg.
Yeah.
I was always the class clown, elementary school, junior high school, somewhat of high school. But I wasn't the class clown where I was disrupting the class. I was always doing, I did my work. I was generally a good student academically and behavior-wise. But I think I was supposed to be somewhat of an entertainer, somewhat of a comedian. And throughout my life, I've had many friends that I'm still cool with to this day. One of them called in the other day, and she was one of the first ones to say, Chaotic, you look goofy, and Hollywood either hires very attractive people or goofy looking people. And you're very funny. And this was about maybe 10, 12 years ago. And at the time I was a teacher. And
a teacher?
Yeah, I was a teacher. I was at a charter school at the time. And it was a horrible job, man, particularly in the inner cities. And you couldn't get through to the kids. You couldn't discipline the kids. And this is where, I saw a lot of chaos and disorder was in these school systems, man. I saw it from the bureaucracy of it down to the parents and to the kids. And it was a microcosm of a greater problem that I saw, particularly in the Black community. And for me to have a voice, for me to be respected, for people to listen to me, you know, you have to have a large following of people, you know? And so it was one of the first times when I thought to get, it was one of the first times I thought about starting a YouTube channel. But back then you couldn't live. I don't think you could live stream. So I tried to get on. We did a video, and I wasn't consistent. I did 1 or 2 videos, and we talked about social issues, etc. And I uploaded it, but it never came to fruition. But anyway, during C-19, I at the time I was a retail options trader. And I had made enough money to, pretty much live off the investments of, if you ever did options, I'm pretty sure you've done options. You've done options trading, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I made a little bit of money where I could just, not have to be in a 9-to-5 setting. So I decided to go on YouTube and test the waters. I was always into politics, always into talking, making people laugh, etc. Like my friends had told me before. And I said, man, maybe this can be an avenue to spread my message and my word and what I perceive, sort of like an individual who reports about society. And I've been doing it ever since, man. I have a passion for talking. I have a passion for going into a room and being known anyway. So why not go into this online room and test the waters? And that's what I realized. I said, why am I, it's cool to go to a party. It's cool to go to a little brunch gathering. It's cool to hang out with your friends and be the man or be funny. But why not do it online in front of thousands of people? Why not allow people to think outside the box, or to get people to think outside the box? Why not challenge people's thoughts and perspectives and etc. So I think this is the beauty of YouTube, where I'm able to do these things. I'm able to have somebody sit back and, think about something that they never thought about before, And so that's why I started, man, to be honest with you. And it's been going good ever since. To be honest with you, Grid, it's been going good ever since, man. And one of the things about YouTube is doing it every day, doing it every single day, getting up, turning the camera on. And that's what I tell people who, want to start doing YouTube, even if you don't have a funny bone in your body. Whatever your talent is, if it's just cooking a cheese sandwich, then that's your platform. Make a cheese sandwich cooking platform. Trust me, there may be 500 people who are into how to make a cheese sandwich, how to make different variations of a cheese sandwich. And this is the beauty of YouTube, man. Like it's you can have a niche market. You can have a very global market, which I deal with in politics. Politics will always be here. And race will always be here too. Everybody loves talking about race. So, I think this is the beauty of YouTube. It has allowed the common man to, entertain or edutain people, Grid, to be, believe it or not. So the fact is that, there's a whole host of reasons why I started, but that was just one of the reasons why. I was a staunch pro-Black back in the day. And, to a degree, I understand the perspective of the Blacks, even liberals. I was a liberal in college for a year and a half. So I'm not just speaking on these topics. I also lived these topics. I also lived the Black Power life. I also lived in liberalism. I went to a very liberal arts college. So when I'm speaking on these things, I'm speaking from the perspective of I've been there and done that. So what I like to do as a content creator is also be a whistle, be a whistle blower, if you will, Grid. And I do this, Grid, because I want other people to have an understanding of different cultures and how different people think sometimes too. So there's a lot of reasons why I started, man, to be honest with you, man.
What kind of teacher were you?
So I taught special ed. I also taught. So
That's tough, man. That's
it is.
tough.
So at a charter school, you can also teach a whole, different. You can do a multiplicity of different things. So I had a history class. They allowed me to do different things, and I also taught at an alternative school as well. So I realized that it was being, and I was also I was a county probation officer too, man. It was one of my first real jobs out of college. And being in these environments, man, you live, eat, breathe, and sleep with the culture and the community. And you see it firsthand, and you see the dysfunction, you see the ignorance, and when people always say, man, you're very patient. I'm like, yeah, I mean, this is just YouTube. This is online. Imagine working and being actually around people who are really like animals, to be honest with you. So this is easy to me. Yeah.
That's all awesome, man. That's great.
All right, man.
That's great.
Yeah.
I mean, being Glenn actually was a corrections officer as well, and I worked with kids out of college.
Well, correction and probation are two different things. But
right. I'm just saying. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we've all kind of worked with people before.
Yeah, and I, when I was a probation officer, you work in the courts, and I worked with some horrible judges, man. I mean, some nasty, mean judges, man. And that's one of the reasons why I said I can't do this. I can't have people yelling at me, undermining me, throwing me under the bus. And maybe this just isn't. Maybe I'm just not good at this. But what I am good at is talking to people and talking and carrying a conversation, which people have always told me all my life. So I'm thinking, well, shit, why not just be in front of thousands of people doing it? And maybe this will carry on over to the comic world, the comedian level. Maybe I can do some stand up. Maybe I can get into a movie, or maybe, man, I could be on the level of Candace Owens one day, man. Just a political commentator, man, speaking at congressional hearings, et cetera, et cetera. Those are the goals. But, sky's the limit when you are living in America. It's all about just doing it. Like I keep saying, I want to go to D.C., go to Capitol Hill and do boots on the ground work. I haven't done it yet. But maybe it's just all you got to do. What's stopping me from buying that ticket, that plane ticket? What's stopping me from purchasing the hotel room? What's stopping me from going? We set our own limits, man. And we also set walls too. And telling you, man, if you have a breath, if you are able to breathe, man, just do it. Yeah.
That's all awesome stuff, man. That's all really good. So Glenn down there is a production and engineer guy. He does film, video. He does he's doing my clips for me, which I have seriously slacked in giving him stuff to clip. Just I had a misspent youth, so it's a little bit different, I guess. I like your show. I apologize, man. I think my kids, one of them gave me something, and I'm starting to feel it. I'm starting to get that chest congestion going on. So I apologize. Fortunately, I'm locked in a little room right now in my airplane shed.
Does my mic sound good to you, by the way?
You're a touch low, and occasionally we get an echo.
Wait a minute.
Is that right, Chad, or is that what you're hearing too?
Yeah, because I've never used this platform you have here. Let me try something. Audio output, audio input. Okay.
What about now? Is it better now?
You sound great now.
Okay, there
Just
we
a
go.
little low. A little low.
Okay, so
But the enrichment's there.
okay, so but you heard everything I said earlier.
Yeah, we heard it. It was just
Okay.
tinny. Now you sound. It's got that rich tone to it. That's what it's supposed to be.
All right, there we go. Okay,
Yeah.
there we go.
Yeah, I use this platform because it allows me to do the TTS and when the guys like give memberships or something like that, I don't have to stop and talk because it does it all for me. I don't have to stop the conversation unless it's something big, right? Like if somebody throws a TTS out, it'll read it off automatically most of the time, and so I can just kind of pause and keep going.
Oh.
It's just a feature.
Yeah,
And it does a lot of cool stuff too. So, are you married?
I am.
Yeah. How long?
3 years.
3 years, man. That's
Yeah.
good. That's good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I've been married 19 years.
That's what's up. That's good. That's good. How's that been?
It's been great, man. I tell everyone that I never intended to get married. So when I got married, it was like the best thing ever.
Okay. Now it's not echoing anymore, correct?
No, you're good, man.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good.
You can use your regular voice and everything now.
Being married to a Chinese woman.
Yeah, man.
And she was born in China.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And she moved over here. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, no, you got it, man. So she came over as part of a program when she was about 14 or so. As a teenager, she came over, maybe 16, and did like a semester or whatever in New York City, and that convinced her that she wanted to be in the U.S. And so she went to an extension of DU, Denver University, that was in. That was actually in Beijing, and it's interesting because it's hard to communicate to people how important family is. And we talk about all these other problems. It's rare that we talk about how important your family is. But like her dad would get up every day and go stand in line all day to get her a visa to come to the US for her college. And that wasn't a guaranteed thing. Like she got in, she came over, she got a degree from CU Boulder, and then she got a master's in finance from DU. But that wasn't guaranteed. Like she still had to get that visa. And to get it, her dad literally had to go down to the embassy every day for like a month. Every day. And the line would be so long, he'd almost get there, they'd shut down. He'd get there next day, wait again. Get there again, wait again. Every day. You get the paper filled out, go, or get the paper stamped, take it home, fill it out, bring it back, same thing. And that's something that it's hard for me to even conceive in this country, fathers doing that. Right? Like it would be too much trouble. Do you understand what I'm saying? And so she came over and she, my wife is very strong. Like she came over here. She didn't know anybody. She spoke English, but not like it is now. And so she had a lot of learning to do. So it was tough. It was tough for her to go to school. It was tough for her to do these things. And we met, actually on an online dating website. We didn't even have apps back then, just online dating website. And I wasn't really that interested in dating anyone online. I thought it was garbage. It was, just something to suck money out of men's pockets and, whatever, all the things. Right. But I actually went out with her because her ad was the only one that sounded like that she had written in such a way that sounded like she wanted an actual relationship. And at that time I had decided that I was going to at least attempt to get married. Like I'd had a really good relationship that we'd broken up, but that kind of like left me thinking, all these years of being a single, lone wolf dude traveling the country doing my thing, maybe I need to back off of that. Maybe I need to settle down, now it's time to finish being a man, right? Like I'm at that point, I was just a guy who literally I basically consider myself homeless half the time because I was traveling from one place to the other and back again and all over. So I apologize for this. Sorry. My throat's just really scratchy. Yeah, so we started dating. We dated about maybe a month before she went back to China because the semester ended. She went back to China for the summer. And she'd been gone about a week and a half, 2 weeks. And all of a sudden I realized I missed her. And I don't miss anybody. I cannot talk. My mom just got mad at me because I hadn't talked to her for a month. Like I just don't pick up if she doesn't call me, I don't call her. I assume everything's okay. Same thing with my brother. I hadn't talked to my brother for 2 months. I'm sure. But I just don't miss people like that. Right. And one day but I'm that kind of guy that like I could not see you for a year. And we just, go hang out a couple of times and we're right back where we were.
Yeah, you're stoic.
Yeah,
and, you were
sorry?
stoic. So you were you're stoic, yeah.
I'm a stoic. I am a stoic, yeah.
Yeah.
And so I just don't but I missed her. And so I talked to her when she was in China. I kind of hunted her down in China while I was here. I tracked her down through her parents, through her grandparents, and found her while she was in China. That really impressed her, right? Like nobody had really ever expended that much effort just to talk to her. And so she when she got back, we moved in together. We got married a few months later. Been married ever since.
Sounds good.
2 kids. I've got a 14-year-old. I've got a 4-year-old, or almost 4-year-old.
Okay. And you said DU was at
Denver University.
Denver University. Okay. Awesome, man.
She has a master's in finance from DU and a master's an MBA from Berkeley.
Okay.
Yeah, she works in finance, and her office is in New York.
Oh, okay. Let me ask you this: she hasn't been Americanized, right? She doesn't.
Somewhat. It's hard for Chinese people to not be Americanized, but there's always that Chinese part of them, and I think that's the interesting thing that I grew up listening to my parents talk about the Italian town, Irish town, Chinatown, all these little burgs, right? In the cities. Every city had them. And the Irish didn't really mingle with the Italians. The Italians didn't mingle with the French, and the French didn't really mingle with anybody else, This whole melting pot ideal that we're taught in school is bullshit. It's just total bullshit.
Yeah, it is.
It was never that way. Pardon me, man. I'm going to struggle through. But there was no melting pot. This idea that now certainly, if you saw, if you were an Italian dude and you saw a sweet, Irish chick, maybe you'd, want to get to know her. But you'd have to battle her parents and your parents to do that, right? Because your parents would want you to marry a nice Italian girl, right? Same in your case. If you were a back when you were in college, you're a strapping young lad, and you see a fine white girl over there back in the 1880s, 1900s, your parents be like, "What you look at a white woman for?"
I could only assume.
Fine black lady. Matter of fact, we found you 2 to choose from. Pick one. Right? And that's not racism. That's just your culture wanting to be and maintain it as a culture. This idea that we're a melting pot, it's just garbage. And the Chinese exemplify that in modern society. When they move into an area, they will all buy houses next to each other. They will all go to the same church. They will all go to the same grocery store. They will all they literally use the same lawyers. They will use the same real estate agent. They talk all the time to each other. Now, if they say, hey, there's a really good steakhouse, they'll all go to that steakhouse. Right. And so it's different than what Americans have been led to believe. And I say led to believe because I think that none of the crap that we're living in modern society is real. There's never been a time period in history where what we're trying to do in America has happened successfully. And we're experiencing the exact reason why it's never happened successfully. Right? Rome conquered literally from one side of Europe all the way to Asia. You know, they damn near made it to Beijing. And in just a few lifetimes, it was all gone because we're not meant to be multicultural. We're not meant to be that way. We just like if you have white ducks, brown ducks, black ducks, they ain't going to intermingle. Now, maybe one or two, you know, because you always got outliers. But I'm talking about there's a reason why they flock together. And I just think that we can't ignore that. And I never really thought about it until I married my wife and saw how homogenous a culture the Chinese culture is. And they're not doing it to be mean. They're not doing it to be evil. They're not doing it out of a sense of hate. It's just to them the right thing to do. And this is where the Democrats always piss me off, man. Leftists always piss me off. They want to go in there and tell these people who aren't hurting anybody, who just are exercising their preferences, that they are wrong. And they need to be more accepting. They need to be more of whatever the fuck they think they need to be. But these are peaceful people. They ain't hurting nobody. They just want to be left alone. But they can't be left alone. That's just like if Glenn Lawrence, I'm picking on him because he's being real quiet. If Glenn Lawrence wanted to take his half Mexican wife and get a bunch of half Mexicans and
first of all, she's Costa Rican. Don't you start that shit. You're gonna get me killed, motherfucker.
All right, sorry, Coco. If he wanted his half Costa Rican wife and a bunch of other half Latinos and white and Italian dudes, and they all wanted to go out in the middle of Utah somewhere and just set up and be by themselves, leftists would have a problem with it. There would be marches, there would be parades, there would be laws written or attempted to stop that. Why? Why is that? I don't know. I never have figured it out. I never have figured it out why it matters. And Charlie Kirk actually pissed me off the other day because as a conservative, he should know better. And apparently he needs to be slapped upside his head and get it a little bit recalibrated. Because the other day he's like, do you think segregation is a bad thing? I don't. I think forced segregation, that's probably bad.
There's a difference between segregation and separation.
Right. And I was making that distinction. Thank you, Glenn.
Okay. I'll let you do your thing. Back to being quiet.
I think forced segregation is bad. Natural separation or willful separation, I have a problem with that. If you want to have an all-black town, brother, go for it. I encourage you to. You know, I encourage. Matter of fact, it would probably be the most successful town in your area if you could get everybody on the same page and you know all of that. So, and but yeah, so my wife is, so the Chinese culture is very, very homogenous. Now they're not as bad as the Japanese. So the Japanese, so like all Chinese think my kids are beautiful. They do. Because they're mixed, and they just think mixed babies are just the most beautiful ones. Period. I don't know why. They look normal to me. But when we're talking about all this, in Japan, it used to be, it's not as much anymore, but mixed children were bad because they wanted to be really homogenous. The Chinese don't have that problem. But my wife is awesome, man. My wife is truly, truly awesome. She's been an amazing wife, great mother, and couldn't honestly. I'm shocked that I did as well as I did. So,
have you ever seen the? Have you ever watched any of the CCP's equivalent of a State of the Union?
No, I watched the. So when I was the last time, the only time I ever watched Chinese TV is I watched is when I'm in China and I only watch the English speaking channel because they don't speak Chinese. Now, I will tell you this. So my father-in-law, he is my father-in-law used to be VP of technology for Beijing Radio, which is obviously the only radio station in Beijing because it's the government owned. He was VP of technology. Her mom worked as a kind of a health care nurse person in a facility. They both had government jobs. They both were technically in the army. And my father-in-law one day was like, he was like, I guess bragging or a little bit or talking to my wife about how the Chinese had outdone the U.S. in something or their military was so cool or something like that. And I don't know, some nonsense. And my wife looked at him and said, you understand or what pays for all of this, right? It's like American capitalism pays for all this. Like, this is why that's why you're able to be here in America and have excellent healthcare and have excellent, which they have decent healthcare in China, but I got a horror story about that myself, but they have decent healthcare in China. They have decent everything, but here it's just way better, and so she kind of took him down a notch or two because he's all like super proud. And look, I don't think there's anything wrong with being proud of your nationality. And if you're from a foreign country, I know people from I knew people from Kuwait who were super proud of being from Kuwait that didn't want to have anything, did not want to be associated with any of the nonsense that went on there, right? And I know I've known some Iraqi people that are just fine people, but obviously they don't like their government. So hang on, I got somebody in my chat here. There we go. The Michigan Christian, we'll talk about that, brother. We will. I disagree with you, but that's okay. We can disagree. That's fine. It's cool. But I never had any problem with them. You understand? You know what I mean? As a matter of fact, we used to send parts for a Corvette to Saudi Arabia and which made it into Kuwait for that fellow. He was over here in college and he bought a car and he shipped it back, and he would call me and it was stupid. Some of the stuff he would need, like a distributor, like how are you not able to find one of those? But he couldn't find one anywhere in that country. So literally everything had to be shipped in. So it just is what it is.
I watched about 45 minutes to an hour of their equivalent of the State of the Union. and obviously it's Xi, and I forgot what he calls what they call the top brass there. I forgot what it's called. There's something committee or something. I can't remember. And the standing committee.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't actually understand their government very well.
Yeah, and well, it's not too much to understand. It's one party. There is no voting, and
yeah, no elections. That's for sure.
Yeah, no elections, and basically, what I was watching was absolutely incredible. Now, it was a big ass hall. It must have fit, I don't know, man, maybe 20,000 people. And all the people there were from individual provinces, or these were people who represented, or obviously were appointed to represent whatever province or town or whatever. And grid, it was nothing but Chinese. There was no whites. There were a few whites, but they were like camera guys or something, obviously from different countries. But what I was thinking is that these people across the planet don't believe in diversity. They don't believe in, no, they don't. These people really are homogenous. And this is why I look at Americans and I say, God damn, man, like you guys don't really realize the experiment that is really here that we are all a part of, man. And and when I hear people complaining and they say these things about this country, I say, dude, America has done something, like you said earlier, that no other country has ever done in the history of man. Maybe Rome, like you said, did it, but this is a very multicultural country, and people who otherwise would have nothing in common with each other are brought together in this melting pot, which, you did bring a good point. Maybe, I think the whole melting pot is wildly over exaggerated because let's be honest, back in the day, Italians hung with the Italians, Irish with the Irish. We get that. But the fact that in this country you had individuals from drastically different cultures mixing and mingling, man, I think that's one of the greatest experiments of all time, and it was social.
It is,
man. That's wild when you sit back and think about it, right? Because I'm telling you, like when I was looking, it was eye opening looking at that State of the Union. I'm like, damn, these people don't believe in that shit. They don't believe in democracy. They don't believe in a republic.
Yeah,
and
they don't.
Go ahead.
Yeah, they're and again, this is why I always caution people, because I've traveled a lot, and I caution people to never. I mean, it's okay to look at the world through the Western lens to some degree, but if you really want to start nitpicking a society or their laws or their traditions or their customs, you have to throw that Western lens away.
You do,
because you don't understand their culture. And let me tell you, you ever want to see something terrifying? Go to like Sweden, where everyone is blonde
and beautiful.
Like, an aberration is like a brown-haired dude.
Yeah.
Right. Like, you ever want to see homogenous?
Yeah.
Go to like Sweden or Norway. I mean, dude, it's crazy.
Yeah.
And again, here's the interesting part is nobody has a problem with that. As a matter of fact, those societies are held up as wonderful.
Yeah.
Right. But other societies are not. Now, look, again, you could, Michigan Christians out there going nuts right now. He's dude, you got to calm down. You're going to blow a gasket, brother. It's fine. I can't see any reason for diversity at all.
I agree.
To be honest with you. And I look back through history, and the largest amount of growth in this country, the largest amount of innovation, the largest amount of wealth accumulation, the largest amount of gain in every metric was when we were not homogenous. We were not assimilated. When the Chinese had their village and the Italians had theirs and the Irish had theirs and the English kind of milled in everywhere, right? They just filtered in. You had Germantown, and it was actually Germantown, right? And nobody messed with it. But that's when we had railroads getting built. That's when we had robber barons out there creating mass amounts of wealth. Right now, on the backs of people, true, right? There were some brutal conditions. But again, I'm not willing to look at history through the modern lens. I'm not going to do it. As brutal as history was, it's always been brutal. And I just don't really care. Right. I don't care. That's nonsense, Michigan Christian. Everyone traveled. Literally, people, even poor people, would leave their homes for months at a time to go to Europe and come back. Even poor people. The idea that only the rich traveled is a fairy tale told to you in novels written by people who had to sell books. This is why you cannot, you just can't do that, brother. Go look at people's diaries. Right? Look at how the world grew. History is a wonderful thing, but when we look at history through a modern lens, it falls apart because our proclivities and the things that we're taught in school, which are very flawed, come into play. If I told you that the entire national education system was founded by J.D. Rockefeller and his group of robber barons for $189 million purposefully to train workers for factories and ruin the nuclear family, you would believe me, because that you can look back through history and see that. But a lot of people would not believe me because they can't. Because all they can do is look back and see the disadvantaged Irishmen that worked in the factories, and the disadvantaged Chinese that built the railroads, and the disadvantaged Scotsmen and Welsh that worked in the mines. That's all they can see. All they can see is disadvantage this and poor that. And that's wrong. That's wrong. Yeah, traveling between communities was frowned upon, to be honest with you. You could do it, but why would you? You might get shot. I mean, just be honest with you, you know? Anyway, I'm sorry, man. Flow State is still trying to get a hug, man. I don't know what's up with Flow State. Sorry, buddy. This is an adult conversation tonight. I'm not sure you fit in. But Chaotic Truth, man, I think your channel says a lot of really good things, and I know that you tailor it specifically, to kick it in the backs of specific people, right? But you're doing good work no matter what. I got to be honest with you. So, and I told you, I don't know if I told you how I found your channel, man. That guy in my chat right now, Ghost 1978. He, so I'd come on and I'd say, hey, it's time I start moving in and working with other creators and moving into other channels, getting on other not kind of getting away from not necessarily my comfort zone, but just I got to expand the horizon, right? And I said, if you guys know of a channel that I should go to, or I should be on, or I should work with that creator, or at least talk to them, let me know. And Ghost, man, he knocked it out of the park. He's like, hey, he sent me the link, and I was working I was working out my garage, and I spent like 3 hours listening to you, and I don't even remember what it was about now, but it was just like, this dude's awesome, man. He's saying all of the things that and what's interesting is you're saying all of the things that all normal people would say if racism was removed. If I wouldn't get caught, if I would not get permanently canceled, my life threatened, and all of that, I'd say the same things. I can't do that. And I can't do that. But the fact that you're able to do it is awesome, dude. It's amazing. It's great.
Yeah.
And I applaud you for it. I applaud you for it. And you're doing it in a way that I know that some of your audience sometimes find, like today, they felt like you were being a little harsh. I could see that people thought that you were coming down on Afro Nerd a little too hard. But honestly, I mean, he kind of brought it on himself, kind of did.
Yeah, man. Like I said, man, I think YouTube exists for people like us, man. And, the beauty of the internet is, do you remember the girl named Carly Russell?
Vaguely.
Carly Russell was the black girl who faked her kidnapping.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Great.
Was she like 200 and something pounds?
Okay, there we go. Now, I was one of, if not the first content creator that got on live that day and said, that is a lie. That is a race hoax. And then I broke it down step by step by step by step. I talked about her weight. I talked about the fact that what would be the incentive of kidnapping this 30-plus-year-old black girl. I talked about, all types of things. People didn't believe me. People thought I was crazy. But the one thing is, I've been around blacks. If it were not for the internet, had that story gone under the rug, history would have remembered that as the black girl who was kidnapped. But because it was found out to be a hoax, because we have the internet to give us information, up to speed information, you see in real time that maybe a lot of the things we were told in history are all bullshit. And so I think that's the beauty of content creators now, because I'm telling you, man, you had a population of people who believed that girl was kidnapped. They were writing comments about it. They were talking about it. And it took people like me to get online and say, you know what? Ain't nobody kidnapping that 235-pound black girl. Do you know how hard it is to even, do you know a loudmouth black girl would have at least put up a fight? And why? What would be the point? The story doesn't even make sense. A white guy with a redhead white guy who kidnapped a Carrot Top. It didn't make any sense. And like I said, if this had been 30 years ago, that would have been another race incident that would have further divided people. Blacks hating whites, whites hating black. Who's to know? But because you have the content creator that will criticize and say and ask the question, what if this is fake? And then when it comes out to be fake, man, the content creator who said that was right. Let's keep listening to him. Let's keep listening to this guy. Let's keep listening to these guys. And I think that's the beauty of all this. It's the beauty of this, man. And that's why I do it every day, man. Every single day. At person, you brought up Afro Nerd. Afro Nerd, he's not being oppressed. Nobody's ever oppressed him. Nobody's ever oppressed his mother and father. He probably grew up in a nice, loving 2-parent household. But the problem with an Afro Nerd is he's trying to sell. And I always say this. I don't know if you ever hear me saying this. And I'm a little bit tired too, Gris. So I'm not as sharp as I am in the morning.
Yeah, man, you're okay, man. And we can just chat, man.
Yeah. So I always say this in the beginning of my show. Because I really believe, even though I agree with you, diversity to a degree, by nature, people really want to be around their own people. But one thing is happening that I'm seeing is, in my opinion, racism is not for sale anymore. It's not a blue chip stock anymore. It's an OTC. It's over the counter now. And a lot of these people now are trying to sell it. It's like a fire sale. They're trying to sell whatever bits of it. It's a penny stock now, because they can't sell the bullshit anymore. because now you have thousands of black content creators like me, you have thousands of content creators now on YouTube that will challenge them of their same race. And I think that's another beautiful thing about YouTube. He wants to sell racism. He wants to sell victimhood. But ask him, get on camera and show us your neighborhood. You know why a lot of them won't get on camera, Grid? And I've called it out. A lot of
I heard you.
A lot of them, they live in 3,000, 4,000 square foot, like the guy Dave.
Yeah.
Now, had this been 35, 40 years ago, and he just happened to meet you somewhere at a bar, let's say, that person Dave, right?
Mm-hmm.
You just happen to meet him at a bar. It's 1990. He can give you a woe is me story. He can give you a sob story, and you might believe it. But that dude, but he would have lived in a lap of luxury, but trying to sell racism, trying to have a pity party. But see, the reason why they don't like me is because I call it out. Turn your camera on. Let's see your subjugation. Let's see it. And the fact is that now you're seeing a lot of people like this exposed. And it's not just these types of people. It's all types of people are being exposed now because of this beautiful thing called the internet, YouTube, and content creators. So where I do agree with you that, hey, man, maybe diversity isn't the best thing because it doesn't really come natural to us as human beings. But one thing I could say is that I don't believe that racism exists on the same scale that's been sold to us. Grid One, yesterday, do you remember when I mentioned Maya Angelou? Did you know that about Maya Angelou?
No, I didn't.
Maya Angelou was a prostitute. She was a hoe. She was a madam of a house. All she did was marry white men. A lot of people don't know that, Grid. But growing up in the 90s, we were all taught to honor and cherish Maya Angelou. We were brainwashed to honor and cherish a prostitute. But that good old internet, that good old research, I'm telling you, man, it's breaking the barriers of brainwashing that a lot of us have been susceptible to. Think about this. Little black kids were told that they struggled. Here, listen to Maya Angelou. Come to find out, Maya Angelou in the 1940s and 1950s was marrying and getting her back blown out by white guys. So how bad could it have been back in the day?
Yeah.
How bad could it have been? And see, this is why Afro Nerd calls in, because I get people to thinking, how bad could segregation have been if the black people wanted to live around the white people? How bad could it have been? No, it was real bad. People were getting hung. Well, if black people were getting hung left and right, why on earth would black people want to live around these people? See,
that's always been my question, man. That's always been my question. I don't live where I'm not wanted, brother. I don't live where I'm not wanted. I don't go where I don't want to be. I don't go. You know why I don't live in New York?
Why?
Because to be honest with you, I don't like New York, man. I don't
New
like
York
the
City.
people.
You talking about New York City?
New York City. Yeah, I don't like New York.
Because there's a fucktard named Bo out there. No.
He doesn't live in New York City.
Oh, somewhere out there.
I'm gonna throw Jess. I'm gonna put you up, but Chaotic and I are just kind of chilling right now. Okay, is that cool?
I'm having something to eat right now anyway, so that's all good.
Okay, good. All right, cool. I may kick you back to the back chat or kick you down, but whatever, it doesn't matter. I don't go to New York. I don't go to California unless I absolutely have to. Why would I do that? I don't like the laws there. They don't like me. They don't like my politics. They don't like the way I look. They don't like the way I dress. Why would I want to go there? I don't go there. I don't care what color they are. Red, brown, green, yellow. It doesn't matter. They don't like me. I don't like them. I don't go there. I've never understood this part. Why do you want to go somewhere that people don't like you? Is the grass really that greener on the other side?
Or maybe it was all an over exaggeration. But without the internet, without instantaneous communication, you would just believe whatever a teacher told you.
Yeah.
And then when you really do research, and I'm
Which is
telling you,
lies. A lot of it's lies.
and I'm telling you, it takes the content creator, you, me, and other people. Throw out an idea, throw out a question to people. I like throwing out questions now. See, I never liked debating, but Greg, one thing that I'm doing now is just throwing out questions.
Mm-hmm.
There was a kid, he's 23 years old, Greg. He's telling me about redlining. Redlining? Mother Blanker, you were born the day after 9/11 and you telling me about redlining? And I asked the kid, his name is D, he calls in. Hey, D, he told me, he said, I know I have friends who suffer through redlining. How old are your friends? They're in their 80s. So you have 80-year-old friends and you're a 23-year-old college kid at Johns Hopkins? Call them right now. Let's ask them. Greg, what? All of a sudden, oh, I can't call them. They're making it up. A lot of what's being said is bullshit. Greg, just like now listen, I'm not for the illegals at all.
Right.
I don't want them in the country. I have no need for them. I'm pretty sure there's some
they're
business.
foreign nationals, so
But I knew that the media was lying when they are trying to perpetuate the whole they're taking over apartments. Then you got people who actually live in these areas on their own phones going live saying everything the media is telling you is bullshit. And I'm telling you, man, that is the reason why content creators are doing way better than traditional media outlets. I don't know if you're hip to this. You have go ahead.
So I'm a research guy, right? Like I always have been. I'm a research. Like if you tell me something, it doesn't matter what you tell me. I may shake my head right then, yes sir, but I'm gonna go find out. I have to do it. And a lot of times I'm wrong. A lot of times, or I will have outdated facts. Whatever, it doesn't matter. So I didn't understand the news in this country. I don't think anybody did. But I ran across a publication. I wish I could find it again because it's from like the 1920s, 30s. And this guy is writing a treatise on the news, and he's talking about how the news has never not been biased. Somebody is always paying for those news articles. And nobody ever written a free news article in their life. Somebody pays for it. Somebody pays to publish that. Now, if it's you self-publishing it, then it's your agenda. If it's somebody paying you to write it so they can publish it, it's their agenda. Mm-hmm. And if they say they don't want this written in there, you're not going to write it in there. Period. End of list. And so, and that resonated with me because I'm like, I've always wondered, how can it really be that bad? How is it that you can literally have a reporter on CNN stand up and lie, dead ass lie, living in a $3 million house, acting like he's unemployable. Like if he loses his job, it's over. He's on the streets. This man ain't never seen the streets.
Are you talking about Don Lemon?
I am talking about Don Lemon.
you know, his gay ass would be going out there and start just being a little Magic Mike and start tricking it.
Great.
But we all saw it, right? We all saw the same thing.
I did a story about Don Lemon. I'll wait till you're done, though.
I just can't believe it. I couldn't believe it. I mean,
I did a story about that. I did a story about. I've done like 2 or 3 episodes about Don Lemon. How he's cried about racism. He's cried about, and this goes along with what you were saying. And I said when he said that all white men are, what did he say exactly? He said all white men or white men in America are. Oh, he said this is verbatim. This is what he said. White men are an existential threat to the national security of this country.
He did say that.
Yep. He said it verbatim. Man, I couldn't wait to wake up and do an episode about it, and I did. Here goes the man. How vulgar can we get over here?
Oh, as long as we don't break TOS, brother, we are good.
Here goes a man having gay butt sex with a white man living in Sag Harbor or the Hamptons, I guess. He's over here getting his back blown out by a white man. How much of an existential threat to the nation can white men be if you are comfortable with a white man sticking?
I guess he sleeps with one eye open.
Well, it's called the slave and master scenario. It's a role play.
It's a role play. Oh,
so here go and so one thing I can always say is if this was 1985, 1990, unless you really research, you wouldn't know who he was married to. You wouldn't know. I mean, not to say that you didn't know a lot of people's personal life back in the day, but now because of this beautiful thing, this social media, the internet, you know everything. So for him to outright lie, it doesn't work anymore. You can't sell this product, which is racism, anymore.
Yeah, man, and he's one of the best at selling it too. I mean, he really is. He comes off as did you see his Elon Musk interview?
I did a show about that.
He was so angry with Elon, and he just couldn't. He was doing everything he could to not show it, but dude, he was so pissed. He was so pissed.
Great. Here goes Elon Musk, quite possibly the Nikola Tesla of our generation, the Isaac Newton of our generation. The man, he dibbles and dabble in
everything,
travel,
everything.
He sits down to have an interview with you. He's paying you, and you are acting like you are superior to him. He's your boss at the moment. And what he does is he plays the victim. Now, again, 1980, if this was 1980, his little do funny ass could have run to the tabloids and said, oh, he's racist, he's this, and it would have been a big problem. But we all saw it in real time. And I think a lot of people are waking up to the nonsense of these people who are really trying to divide the country. Listen, this is supposedly a melting pot, but don't create a division that's not there in the first place. It's not there. This man, he's your boss. He's paying you. How dare you? But Don Lemon is a really interesting guy, to be honest with you, man, and not in a good way.
Well, there's a lot of them. Don Lemon's just an easy target because he lies on camera all the time. You know, but my point is the press is dishonest in general. You can't believe them. The statistics are quite often flawed. You know, I can show you whatever I want to show you, right? Like if it doesn't matter. And I spent my career was all in was mostly in racing, shockingly. And the biggest part of my job was to read the rule book and figure out what I could do within the confines of the words that were printed on those pages to cheat, right? Or to gain an advantage, however you want to look at it. And I did all the time, and how I could catch other people and how I could prevent other people from gaining an advantage. I knew those rule books backwards and forwards. And I would think so far out of the box, man, like you have no idea the things that I did. They created rules in series because of me. I say that with great pride because they don't normally do that. You can't normally pinpoint the one guy that created such an issue that they actually had to write new rules to cover the things that he was doing. And I did that 2 or 3 times. So when I look at something and I start examining it, I break it down like that. I just tear it apart one little piece at a time. And then I just, it's not that I'm thinking outside the box. There's just no box to start with. I'm just tearing this thing apart, and we're going to see what it is. And so a lot of these arguments, a lot of the things that people talk about I'm looking at it. I come at it from a completely like way out and back viewpoint, right? And so a lot of times I'll say things that just shock people because they've never looked at it that way. They never thought about it that way, and they'll just completely stop what they're saying. It happens in here all the time.
So I got a question. I got a
go right
question
ahead.
for Chaotic.
Yes, sir.
Chaotic, are we ready to admit that Trump is the first black president? I mean, he got felonies, baby mamas, bad credit now. He's getting sued by everybody.
They're about to seize his house.
Yeah, he's about to get repoed. I mean, can we just say he knows more of the black man's struggle than the black man?
I will admit he's for certainly beating me out. So I'll give you that one. Yeah.
Oh man, that's funny. That's
what's funny about this, and which is even funnier, Trump has always been popular and famous amongst black people, man.
Yeah.
And
yeah, he has.
Yeah, and it's the weirdest thing to me how
many NAACP awards did he win?
A lot. Win, I don't know.
Or
I know
not win, but like was given like
attended. Yeah.
He's
like
a
lot. Yeah.
What was the singer's name? Jennifer Hudson. When her
family
got murdered,
yep.
He flew his plane out to Chicago to pick her up, and then brought her over to the Trump Tower, and didn't charge her family anything to live up in the penthouse and stuff like that, just to take it, just wanted to be nice. And there was a couple of his employees, just regular employees at his hotel, kids who he's paid for their college, and they were people of color too. Like, just wrote him blank check. So this whole thing that he's a racist, it doesn't sell. They're just trying to make it
as my grandmother said, it doesn't wash.
Yeah.
Doesn't wash.
I think Tim Walz probably wasn't the best pick, but I'm not going to say
racist.
I mean, not Tim Walz. I'm sorry, not Tim Walz. I'm sorry. Oh, Jesus Christ.
JD Wells?
I mean, JD Vance. Jesus Christ.
So I didn't like him at first. I like him now. Okay. I like and the more I hear, the more the more interviews he does, the more he pushes back, and I hear how he's pushing back, the more I like him. Because he's not Pence who would just sit there and just say, well, we're just not going to talk about that. He will literally say, no, you're wrong, and here's why you're wrong, and you won't ask anyone else that. Why are you asking me that?
Yeah.
And I like that. I don't have to agree with everybody. This is another thing that I say this all the time in here. I don't have to agree with you at all to like you. I don't
gotta like you.
I don't even have to like you. Arthur Dye and I literally just go, man, you should watch some of the some of the discussion.
They argue like a married couple.
And
I kid you not.
No, we're
shut
not that
the
nice
fuck up, Arthur Dyer.
We're not that nice to each other. But no kidding, we will I will say things, she will say things, but we're totally cool. We're friends. She has good points. I have good points. I can admit that. I don't even have to like people to have them around me, right? Like I will freely admit, hey, I just don't like you, man. But you're cool. So to come around, I don't like it. You can stay over there. I'm gonna stay over here. It's cool. I don't understand why more people just can't have that thought process. Everybody's got to. It's just a weird thing. Well, I mean, I kind of understand it, but at the same time, I don't.
No, everybody didn't watch Fences. They should have listened to the Denzel Washington monologue in Fences, and he told his son, "Ain't nobody gotta like you.
Ain't nobody gotta like you, brother. Ain't nobody
about if people doing right by you.
I respect you.
Well, Grid, one thing I could say is, and I am the Negro Whisperer.
That's right.
It doesn't really work for blacks. You probably watched Howard Stern back in the day, right?
I did. And
I'm pretty sure Glenn, being in California, knows this person. He's a comedian. About 25 years ago, Howard Stern had Daniel Carver. Remember Daniel Carver?
Yeah.
So there was the roast of Daniel Carver. It was the funniest roast. It was so funny. The black comedians bombed. It was almost like they were afraid of this old white man in the damn hood behind Robin's desk. There's a comedian. His name is he's a Corey Holcomb.
Mm-hmm.
Corey Holcomb sat up there, and this is when I lost all respect for Corey Holcomb. This is a big black guy. He asked Daniel Carver, "Hey man, how come you don't like me?" And I said, "What in the hell is wrong with this dude?" And so the problem is that you have a lot of blacks that want people to like them, and it goes back to the whole fences thing. They don't. I'm telling you, if Greg, if you were to leave the planet, you would have so many blacks who would just want to go with you. Think about how crazy this is. If white people said we're gonna leave the planet, black people, can we come with y'all? So one of the problems is that blacks don't want to really do for themselves. And it's the weirdest thing to me, man. He asked a Ku Klux Klansman why he didn't like him. I was like, go ahead.
Why is it? And you just black comedians just hit a button, man. Why is it that black people have such a problem supporting black people that are really successful?
It goes along with what I'm saying here.
It's the jealousy, and they think they're Uncle Toms.
Well, it's not even, it's that too, but black people want to be around white people so bad. And I don't know where it comes from. I don't think it's a new thing. I think it's very old. I think it's ancient. But it's something in the black man's psyche that makes him want to be around white people. And makes him, and so when you say, how come the blacks don't support successful blacks? It's because the whole idea is that we're not like the Chinese, right? We're not like.
I think you're right about that. Because I think you're right. Because you look at the black entertainers, and they will have, I mean, I'm not saying they won't be popular, but they will not be anywhere near as popular as white entertainers. And what's more is you'll have an entertainer like Eddie Murphy. I'm about to play an Eddie Murphy clip. You'll have an entertainer like Eddie Murphy who should be a hero to the black people. And they'd be like, yeah, Eddie Murphy, man, we're embarrassed about that guy. You know, he talks too much shit. He's too real. He's too raw. He's too whatever. I don't know. I love this clip though. You're gonna love this. Watch this. Yeah.
If you marry somebody and neither one of you have anything and you build $300 million together, you deserve half. But Johnny was $300 million in when they met, and I'm quite sure she knew. And Johnny, hey, I'm Johnny. She was like, I know who you are, motherfucker. And they got married, broke up, shit didn't work out, and then he had to give $150 million of his money. And don't get me wrong, ladies, I know a lot of housewives sitting out there going, well, you can't put a price on what I do. But ladies, if you marry a man with $300 million, you ain't no regular housewife. You ain't got to clean the house no more. You get a maid. You ain't cleaning shit. You marry a man with $300 million, you ain't cooking no more, you eating out. You marry a man with $300 million, you know how a lot of housewives got to get jobs on the side to help make ends meet? He got $300 million, the ends are meeting like a motherfucker. What you gonna do, get a job at a boutique on the weekends and shit? Say, here, Johnny, I made $70, put that with the rest. Now we have $300 million and $70, because I want to do my share. No. Oh,
That's awesome. That's great advice. Like that's the rule to live by, brother. But you don't. But I never see that on a black channel. But I do it all the time. I love that bit. That's almost as good as Sam Kinison, man.
Man, I'm telling you.
I didn't mean to make you sad, man.
No, man. You're not gonna get.
Can we just call it what it is? Like when it comes down to it, the victim mentality pays off.
It does.
Look, with the victim mentality, you ain't gotta work. You got welfare. You get a check. They will pay you to be broken. Because if you're broken, that means then you're dependent upon them. And if you're dependent upon them, that means they have the power over you because you defer your power to them. And if you constantly blame them for everything is their fault, well, then they are constantly having to be in the position to tend and care for you.
Yeah. It's tragic, isn't it?
It's the black community. And let me give you my experience. Like I grew up in the black home since I was 3 years old.
Oh, yeah.
My stepdad's black. My brother and sister's black. I was called a niglet ever since I was 3. Okay, you can't tell me nothing. All right, my cousin, his name is Safari. Okay, and he is so dark, he's under the bed dark. He's like Midnight Train to Georgia dark. Okay, dead ass. Like, that's my family, and that's what I grew up in. That's the environment I grew up in. I didn't know that the N-word was a racist term growing up because all of us said it. My stepdad called us nigglets, get in the car, just like that. And I'm like, okay, you're just getting in the car. It was just a thing. And you know, what we saw was that there was a difference between my stepdad and all the rest of his family. And my stepdad was never one that blamed anything about his skin. He never taught us racism or never explained to us racism. When I would see him get pulled over by the cops for picking me up from school, you know, he would not tell me it was racism. He would tell me they were confused about something, right? And he never let us see race. He never said anything about race. Yeah. Now my cousins and everybody would say stuff about race and stuff, but my stepdad would tell me like, no, they're stupid. They don't know. They're just they don't want to be responsible. And that was the thing. He never blamed anything because of race. And now he's a great musician. I mean, he's played drums for Michael Jackson back in the day, a lot of gospel choirs, you know, and he did that as a UPS driver. You know, like the dude never gave, and that's why I don't have excuses. I don't give excuses because there's no excuses that you could give to keep you from not wanting to get where you want to go, unless you're going to say it's your fault.
I couldn't agree more.
Ghost wanted to know if you'd watched The Crucible.
I've heard of Crucible. I've actually tuned in for a couple of minutes. Yeah.
Andrew's good people, really good people.
Yeah, I've heard of him. Yeah, I haven't sat there and watched it. No. I normally watch.
He's done with his debate. Maybe I should send him the link.
Yeah, I normally watch like Lex Friedman, Joe Rogan.
Lex Friedman's good.
Yeah, John Coogan. Jesus Christ, what's his name? John Coogan. Yeah, I listen to different people, but no, not really Crucible. Yeah. I watch a lot of sci-fi. Well, not sci-fi, but a lot of science shows as well too.
Are you big into like Evo psych and stuff? Do you get into that?
Evo,
like evolutionary psychology.
Oh, not. Give me some more. So
so like hyper, like, you know, intersexual dynamics between men and women. You know,
no,
like
I don't get into that. I'm very A, B, and C with women. Women shouldn't be.
You brought on that one chick on your show. That was the first time I came on.
Oh, you talking about Anna?
The one that doesn't know anything about the red pill, about anything. Yeah.
No, that was yeah. I don't really get into the red pill conversation on my show. I don't really have to. I think women are not equal. Women are not equal to men. There's no debates about it. Women should be thin. The standard of beauty is thin and tall. I don't get into debates with women. I think women shouldn't talk when men are talking. And what I mean is, if men are having locker room conversation, if you're gonna get offended, you shouldn't be here in the first place. I'm really just A, B, and C with it. I don't get into the whole red pill. I don't have to, because my whole life has been like that. I've always treated women a certain way, and I don't argue with women. I think if you're not gonna fight I'm under 6 foot, so I feel like if I'm not gonna get into Shaq's face, there's no point in me raising up on no woman either. Hey man, I just ain't gonna talk to you, man. So I don't get into all that stuff. Nah.
The way I look at it is like, if you're not fucking her, why are you gonna argue with her?
Yeah, I don't talk to her. No.
Like if she ain't your woman, why are you why are you wasting time arguing with her?
Yeah.
That's OPP. That's another person's problem.
Yeah, I go to some channels and some women want to argue with me, and I'm like, the only thing you should be talking about is talking about what kind of brand of dishwashing soap you're gonna buy or a mop. Like, it's no point of.
Or what is the better vacuum Dirt Devil or Hoover.
Yeah, I can't. I don't do those conversations with women. I don't have to.
I find it interesting because I know like there's like the black manosphere, right? Which I don't know why like they can't just be the manosphere. You gotta have the black manosphere. It can't just be like
because it makes it cool when you put black in front of it.
Yeah, it makes it cool. Yeah,
makes it cool.
You talking about like Donovan Sharp?
Yeah, well, Donovan's a friend of mine.
Yeah, really? Donovan. I was supposed to be on Donovan's show. I just haven't had time.
Like, Donovan's a buddy of mine. He texted me the other day. But like I'm talking about like what's the name? Like
I think O'Shea was a part of that community.
O'Shea was a part of it for a minute. Yeah. Who's the other one? Lucario.
Lucario. I think I know who you're talking about. Lucario. Yeah. I think I know who you're talking about.
It's not Lucario. I mean, Lucario mentioned this, but what I'm about to say is not from Lucario. There's this one guy, his name was Jay Prince. He came on one of the streams I was on, and he was saying that black men need to share their women and not think of it as cucking. Cucking is a white person term, and that, you know, they shouldn't be bothered by it. And I was taken back by it. I was like, no, when you are when you're sharing your woman and letting her get banged out by somebody else, you're a cuck, right? Like, in you're a cuck. Why would you do that?
Yeah, why would you ever do that?
And he said it's because women heal through sex, and you're not allowing her to heal other men through sex. I thought it was crazy and bogus, but then I heard like Lucario, I believe is in an open relationship where his wife and him go do other things with other people. But even that situation, that in that scenario, that's a cuck, you know? And I've noticed like it seems to be going around a lot more. Primarily, I'm noticing it in the black community. Is it something like prevalent, or is that something like a new fad?
I couldn't answer that question, man. All of in my real life, the majority of my friends are married, wholesome relationships. I mean, when we were younger, we used to sleep around with a lot of chicks, but I don't know anything about that, you know. And yeah, that's kind of
my buddy James West. Like he's a retired Navy chief. He's a black guy. He's like, bro, you wouldn't believe what my wife asked me. Also, what? He's like, she asked me to open up the relationship. What'd you tell her? He said, I'm going to close it with the divorce. And he filed. So I just didn't know, because this is like the third, fourth time I've heard it. I'm like, man, is it something in the water?
I don't know anything about that. Yeah.
I mean, everybody's listening to Destiny then, if that's the case.
Oh, we can't talk about Destiny, bro.
We can't talk about Destiny?
Nah, that's way too faggoty.
That is pretty faggoty.
That's pretty faggoty. We're not supposed to say the F word in and of itself, but we can add an E or
naggity.
An aggity.
Grid, are you into science fiction, by the way?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. Okay. I was actually watching Star Blazers earlier. Yeah. Why? What science fiction you like, man?
Well, no, I mean, because we were talking about diversity, man, and you know, my biggest hope is we end up like the future in Star Trek, you know, where, you know, I actually
the other day
I actually like diversity, but I agree with what you were saying. It doesn't come natural to human beings, and we can see it on the planet with so many homogenous societies. But I actually, to a degree, want that type of future, to be honest with you. Yeah.
So that
well, think about it right quick, right? Think about what diversity is.
So here's my.
Go ahead.
Let me make. I'll make one point. May help you out. Maybe not. I don't know. We'll see. We'll find out. We'll take that journey, because that's all women take journeys, you know. So, have you read Heinlein, Stranger in a Strange Land?
No, I've heard of it, but no, I've heard.
It's good. It's good. You need to read it, man. It's good. So Heinlein had this balance where he would write one really like almost super conservative book like Starship Troopers, and then he would turn around,
we talked
about a political book, and then he would write a hippie book like Stranger in a Strange Land, free love, all that kind of shit. but people didn't realize that he really kind of written the same story just from two different angles with the same kind of, but more or less the same values, just a different story, just a different perspective. And Starship Troopers is one of my favorites to talk about because it gives it gives you this principle of citizenship is not free. We're all we don't care whether you're male, female, alien, black, white, green, blue. We don't care if you pee sitting down. It don't matter. But the only way you get to be a citizen is either through birthright. You can buy it if you can make enough money, or service.
Yeah,
service guarantees citizenship. And I think that's the part when we start trying to do all of these weird cultural shifts, right? We want diversity here, we want inclusion there, we want CRT and DEI and all kinds of other initials going on. The problem we miss out on is nobody's on the hook to pay the bill. Everybody's hung the bill on the higher earners, the people who actually excel and try for so long, they don't give a shit anymore.
Well, actually, Grid, they do have somebody on the hook for the bill that they don't even know that they're on the hook for the bill, right? And I'll explain it like in this way. Sure. It's like, so we know that the majority of taxpayers are going to be of the Caucasian of the descent.
Yeah.
And they typically tend to be the majority of the higher earners as well in the United States, just by sheer numbers, right? Because there's more of them. So when taxes need to get paid, they're going to pay the taxes. If a business, if something doesn't go well, that's who's putting up the bill. The majority, and we can even go down to sex. We'll just say it's men. Men are paying the bill. Men pay the majority of taxes, period. Mm-hmm. So you could say it's the white man that they all hate to love and love to hate is the one that actually pays the bill for the the DEI and sure. all that stuff, right? Like if things fail, it's on that individual's shoulders or that group's shoulders primarily to pay the bill.
Yeah, it's for the people who want to earn. And so, again, I feel like that every time we start talking about diversity, inclusion, all of that, all I see is that I'm going to write a bigger check. I already write a pretty big one. So,
why do we have to have inclusion?
Because
it's a serious question.
Apparently, you scared Jess. Poor Jess.
I mean, like, and I mean that in the sense of if you don't meet the standard, why do we need to include you? If you're unable to perform,
hold on, you're getting into a meritocracy, which I'm an advocate for. I believe Chaotic Truth is an advocate for a meritocracy. Mm-hmm. I'm 100% into a meritocracy. I went to a military school for high school. Everything I did was on a merit system. Either I earned it or I did not earn it. Literally everything. And so I don't see any reason why, if a poor white kid from Tennessee could do it, ain't no reason nobody can do it.
Well, isn't that the way that men naturally understand things? We give men respect based off of merit.
I think we used to. I think it's being bred out of us, to be honest with you.
I think it's an innate thing. I think naturally for men, it's an innate thing. I don't think. I think that's biology. I don't think that's nurture. It's not a nurture thing, but maybe I don't know. Because they still look up to the people that okay, when people see Andrew Tate, they just look up to him and give him that respect because of what he has accomplished, his merits, what he has what he has to show for it, and they automatically give him that respect to listen to him, to hear what he has to say, right? So I think for men, I think it's biological. We kind of do that.
Well, okay. So Chaotic. Let me ask something, man. So a lot of the dudes that come on your show I've noticed. They angry, man. They are angry. I can't believe that Savage. I can't believe the way Savage dances between being like completely angry, belligerent to being, like super calm and just it's he has got to be a tremendously talented troll. Tremendously. Just saying.
Yeah, he's a good guy. I actually met Savage, and he's a good guy.
He said he mentioned that the other day.
He's a good guy. Yeah, he's a good guy. Well, you're saying that some of the people are angry. Some of the guys are angry.
Yeah.
In what sense of anger? Like
that guy Mike today, he came in right out of the gate. He was mad.
Mike, the guy behind the avatar.
Yep. Yeah,
the black guy.
I believe he was.
Well,
it's hard for me to tell, to be honest with you.
Yeah, he's well, that particular guy, he is we talk about incels, correct?
Yes, sir. I don't, but yes,
there's a segment of the black community that are I'm trying to say this the right way. What he is an incel in the sense of pro-blackness. He's mad about like a black cell. Like everything revolves. You notice, like we could talk about. We were trying to talk about China today. We were trying to. It goes back to black people. He's disgruntled.
I noticed that.
Yeah, these types of blacks, they are disgruntled with Western civilization.
Yeah,
they don't like your architecture. They don't like your bridges. They don't like your roads. They don't. So you notice in black communities, you will see littering. You will see loitering. You will see some sort of disorder that hinders the system.
Progress.
And it's really a subconscious thing of hate.
I have noticed that. I don't like talking about it.
Well, I talk about it all the time because a lot of people don't understand it. And I'm the Negro Whisperer. And I'm glad you said that, Glenn. I'm gonna have to use that. It's like a black cell. Now, these guys, unlike the incel, these guys can get women, they can do this, but their sole purpose is to cause chaos and disorder amongst whites and other groups of people. And it's little things. It could be something as simple as riding down a beautiful street in the suburb playing loud music. They don't have a concept of how a community works or a society works.
Yes,
a society of different people. They don't care. They'll walk down the street and hawk. Listen, I've been around all types of people, and I can tell you, and I've seen a few whites do this before, but even things like spitting on a sidewalk,
it used to be a crime.
Yeah, like spitting on a sidewalk. And I'm like, what? I'm thinking, why didn't you just go spit in the bush or the grass or the trash can?
The road was 3 feet further away.
And so a lot of people don't understand. Like a lot of people don't think about the level of decorum and like spitting on the ground. A lot of guys may say, well, what's wrong with that? Well, the sidewalk was made by a man he worked slaved all day, not slaved, he gets paid, but a contractor or construction worker put the he put the concrete down, et cetera. Who wants to walk past spit? And so I've seen a lot of that. And what I'm really starting to believe is, and I could be wrong, it's an anti-American sentiment. They don't like this country. They don't like white people. And so that's why that guy Mike comes in like that.
There's a whole thing in psychology about people who reject progress and they don't want to succeed at all. They want to be thought of as being a failure. They want to be thought of as as being a trouble. They prefer to live in squalor than to excel to anything else. I'm going to answer this from Big Jake's Ranch. Poor kids go to public school, not military school. This poor kid got a scholarship. This poor kid didn't have a spare dime to his name the whole time I was there, but this poor kid worked his butt off, make the most of the opportunity I've been given. On the other side of that, and I don't normally talk about it because I believe it, in general, I would not talk about it. I believe it's beneath me. But we had black kids and some Hispanic kids that did not appreciate the opportunities they've been given, and they would last a year, and they didn't like the order. They didn't like they didn't like having to take orders. They didn't like having to keep their footlocker neat. They didn't like having the field day every week. They didn't like this. I remember, I kid you not, we had this kid, and his name was Charlie. He was a little black kid too. Like he wasn't big at all. And he had an attitude that was 4 times the size he was. And I remember first field day, there's a very specific way you have to fold your clothes and put them in your footlocker. If you have a Bible, it has to go here. If you have a shaving kit, it has to go here. It has to fit in this spot. And all of this, man, it just, when they open that up, they have to be the same or pretty close. There's a rule for every little thing. And he had done something different. I think he had like a book that like a paperback or something. And instead of putting it where it belonged, he put it down on top of his clothes or something like that. And of course the guy comes through, checks them all, says, okay, it's unsat. And he doesn't, and the inspector doesn't tell you what is unsatisfactory. He doesn't tell you. He just tells you that it is, and and he's talking to everybody. All of us have to go through our footlocker. All of us have to look at our stuff, right? So I'm looking at my stuff. If it's me, he doesn't even look at his stuff. He barely opens it. Yeah, I'm cool. Guy comes back in. And Colonel Spain was known for his tolerance, but he was also a very tough individual to deal with when he had to be. And he went through again, and he opened that footlocker, and it had not been, and it visibly hadn't been touched. It literally opened it. Yep, no, it's good. Close it. And he took that footlocker, carried it to the end of the team room, and threw it down 3 flights of stairs. And then he did the same with everybody's footlocker. All of us. Because we're a team. We're not one person. We're a team.
Right.
Everybody's footlocker. And we all knew exactly who it was. Because everybody else took their footlocker and they looked and they opened up and they pulled the trays out and everybody else knew.
Yeah.
Except that one kid.
And God forbid you would have hazed him. They'd have said, "Oh, you guys
beat
are
the shit out of that kid."
you did.
What do you mean? Like, we beat the shit out of that kid.
Oh, okay.
And we told him. We said, "Look, man, there's one of 2 ways this is going to go. Either you're going to get with the program, and you're going to excel, and you are going to be the best you can possibly be, or you're leaving, and you're probably going to be really hurt when you do." And he lasted 1 year before he just quit.
Yeah.
And the only reason he lasted that year is because he got moved to a different team.
Yeah.
If he had stayed on my team, he would have been fucked up.
There was another guy that called in. I think you were there, Glenn. He doesn't really join the panel, but he was the guy who threatened to. He said if he saw me, he would quote unquote beat me up.
Oh yeah.
And the things that he was saying, he openly said he wanted to commit genocide against non-blacks. He openly said that he wants to dismantle technology and we live in the woods. So when you say there are people who call in mad, yeah, man, there's a lot of different types of people out here. Grit, man, you'll be surprised, man. And I've been around so many different types of people, man. And I know a lot of these types of people. I don't know these people personally, but I know a lot of these people. That's why when people say, man, you got so much patience. I'm like, bro, I've worked with so many different types of kids and adults that it doesn't surprise me when I hear these things. And especially with anti-American sentiment from a particular segment of blacks. They hate this place, man. They hate it. And that's why I tell them, and a lot of people think I'm joking when I say, get the fuck back, go to Africa. I'm not joking when I say these things. I don't know if people think I'm joking. I'm like, dude, if you don't like it here, leave. Go to Kenya, go to Nigeria, go to Ghana, spit on the ground all you want. Drop speed down the street, break every law but don't do it here. This is not the country for this. We have laws and orders and systems here. And so you get a lot of people who are really mad that call in. And some people are just trolling too, though, Grid. So to answer your question,
yeah. I remember so the first time I ever met Imperius was in the Crucible.
Oh, really? Yeah, he talks about the Crucible. Okay.
Yeah, so so I joined the Crucible. Andrew invited me to join the Crucible. And I kept telling Andrew that I couldn't get in, and they left me in the lobby. And finally I got in the Crucible, and then one of the first dudes I meet is this Imperius character. And we must have called each other 40 different kind of faggoty guy.
Yeah.
At least 40 different kinds.
Yeah.
And he came at me, and I didn't back down not even 1 inch, and I gave it right back to him, and it was pretty good. But after that, he's always had, now he snipes at me, but he won't go head to head against me very often.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because after that one little deal, like two dogs gotta have a little scrap before they like each other, or whatever. I don't know. But ever since then, he's been cool. But I've never seen him like he was today. Like he was off the rails, man. Like he's off the chain. And the other guy, the black guy, well, actually, he had 4 black guys going after him at one time. Man, that was funny. I was just sitting there watching. Glenn was too. Glenn didn't say anything for like an hour.
No, because see, like, I'll be very clear. I'm not from a place where you just talk shit and like there's no consequences for the things that come out of your mouth. So I got to be careful with myself, because like you say you're going to do something to my wife, I will kill you. Like that's how I see it. Like you're going to harm my woman, that you're asking for hurting. So I can't engage in dialogue when I know people don't necessarily mean it that way.
Mm-hmm.
They're not really going to act on it. In my mind, growing up where I grew up, no, you had to act on it. When somebody making a threat or made a statement like that, you responded. It was because it was in many areas in Los Angeles, it was life or death. So it's like you don't take stuff like that lightly. So when I know people are using it as ad hominem attacks, I just can't get involved. I just sit there and be like, let me just quiet, because I'll want to hurt somebody.
I got
over nothing. It's over dumb shit. But I think but that's from a different era. We live in a world today where everybody's way too safe, and men constantly project safety and niceness, and that shit has to stop, because men are not safe. Okay, we are hairless murder apes. All right, we are capable of doing serious damage with our bare hands. We're not safe, but we could be good. And there's a difference between safe and good, and everybody's too comfortable. If I could talk shit through this screen to you and say whatever I want and tell you what I'm going to do, and I don't have to fear that you coming through my door one of these days, that's way too comfortable. And I don't think any man should be that comfortable.
We talked about that a little bit today on Chaotic Show. He was we were talking exactly about that thing. People are way too comfortable now. They don't know what it's like to get hit in the face. So when they do act out, they go to really like weird extremes.
Well, see, there used to be a time when men, whether it was like, you fought in the streets with your friends, the playground, fights, or you learn how to fight. Whether it was boxing, you pick up a boxing class, or you went to the gym, like, because we had out here we have a gym for the youth, and it's a boxing gym, and it's free. Like, it's a nonprofit gym, and some of the best boxers coming up as kids were in there, and that's where you would go, and you would learn how to fight. Every boy did it, and it was something that was like, nobody told you had to. You just kind of knew that you did it, because you either learned it by getting beat up, or you learned it by going, to get trained. Nowadays, we have shamed men for doing that. So now these young men have no idea how to control their emotions. They lack full, like when women say that they're more emotionally intelligent than men, I would say yes to some degree, because these men are just as emotional and don't know how to regulate their emotions just as bad as women don't. So they'll go from 0 to 60. That's why when you ask, like, why do we have all these shoot 'em ups in the schools with these white kids, chaotic? Well, it's because they have never been taught to handle their emotions. They had never had a masculine presence telling them to handle their emotions. They've had a woman telling them, use your words.
That's true. That's true. I'm going to have to take a minute here. You guys keep talking. You guys are having a good time anyway. Right
Just,
I know you look tired, man. You look tired.
I know. I'd say chaotic like he about to pass out.
Yeah, I can keep it rocking.
You can give me like 10 minutes, man.
Yeah. Let's get is that Jess at the bottom?
Oh yes. She's our based white woman. She bows down to the patriarchy. I have evidence of this bowing down of the patriarchy. Yeah, video. She bowed down to my patriarchy all day today.
You were talking about, and I noticed this, and I've said this before. I noticed a lot of content creators, especially the ones that really, well, not just content creators, but I noticed a lot of people are on the on the East Coast, the Midwest, that are on YouTube, and I wonder why a lot of people from LA are never on YouTube. And I think you just said it, and I've always thought that, because you just said it. A lot of y'all don't really get into that playing the dozens bullshit. And I noticed that before, because I don't see too many content creators from LA on YouTube.
No, and what if they are? They're gay, or they let their wife get banged out like Adam 22 does. So I mean, they're a weird bunch. But we do have some good content creators out here. A lot of them are older guys.
Okay.
Like a lot of older men, like one of my good friends, RP Thor. Okay. He's like a surrogate dad to me. Good guy. There's him, and then there's several other ones, but they're typically older guys.
Okay.
Ruslan is a Christian rapper. He's out here in LA. He's not LA, he's in San Diego. He's a friend of mine as well. But there's not nowhere near as many as you see on the East Coast and elsewhere. Now there's a lot of female podcasters out here. A lot of the women podcasters are out here.
How's LA, right? I've been to LA since I've been a kid, like a teenager, but in the media we see LA as a hellscape in certain places. Is that true in terms of what we're seeing?
Oh yeah, man. Like I could walk outside right now and see some homeless people probably taking a shit, like right on my yard. Like, I mean, it's bad. Like now, like everybody has Ring, it seems like, in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
And everybody like starting to monitor everybody else's stuff for them as well. Because you get your mail just like if you got a box delivery. So I get my meal prepped delivered, right? So they're pre-prepped. They just got a microwave. Great. They come already frozen.
Yeah.
And it's a big box. And people will go up and take that shit right off your porch, broad daylight, like it was nothing. Like they owned it. I have a Harley, so I like to ride my motorcycle. People have literally, not mine, but other people's just walked right on their driveway, took their motorcycle, wheeled it off, and put it in a truck and left. Like, people have no shame out here.
Yeah.
So it is really bad, and the reason is because law enforcement are not enforcing the laws. Like they've been told basically to stand down and not basically, unless it's like a violent crime or a murder or something along those lines, they're told not to do anything about it. I mean, you could go into, if I want a new camera, I'll just go into Best Buy, steal that shit, make sure it's under $9.99, and they won't even press charges. I mean, that's how bad it is.
Yeah, we hear about it all the time, man.
Well, they closed Walmart's down in LA, right?
Oh no. So Walmart's still open. It closes after like 10 o'clock. It shuts down.
Yeah.
There was a time when Walmart's used to be 24 hours.
24 hours, man. Oh, I remember those days.
Yeah, Walmart's not 24 hours anymore. It is simply 10 p.m. Then it's done. And that's because people were stealing. Do you remember when they were having like the BLM riots and everything? They were going kind of like spreading around. When they came out here, they trashed downtown. Like Nike was destroyed, and I was like, "What are you guys protesting? You guys are not protesting. You guys are
just looting, right?
You guys are going back to school shopping."
Yeah,
you know, like, and my buddy had his family's Middle Eastern, and they owned a business downtown, and we got a call, said like, because they put a lot of money into our films. They funded a lot of our feature, like our small films. So when we got told that their business got trashed, a bunch of us went down there to go help clean up, because the building next to them was caught on fire. So we wanted to go over there and see if there was anything that we could salvage and stuff. We get down there. I'll tell you, I can't make this a joke because it's not a joke, but like Lululemon completely intact, Nike destroyed, Levi completely intact. Was it the Barnyard or Barn something? No problem. Lids destroyed. You know, like, and it was really sad, like, to see, like, if this was a protest about an injustice, it wasn't, because all you did was a come up.
Why keep, in my opinion, right? Why would they keep some of these stores open for walk-in traffic if you could just walk in and take an item and just walk out?
Actually, so we're actually having a big problem with that. A lot of these businesses are starting to file for Chapter 13.
Yeah,
because they're just losing too much. Loss prevention, like the
can't keep staff.
Yeah, like they can't afford to lose the merchandise at the rate that they're losing it.
Yeah,
and pay staff the wages that they need to pay them, as well as try to make it sure that they can make enough to keep it open overall.
Yeah,
right. And so we're starting to see the city bail out some of these like big malls or the stores, like big like name chains, but they're not really doing it for the small mom and pop shops. That's where that's really getting hit hard. Those are the ones that are closing down a lot quicker. And really what it comes down to is just enforce the laws.
Yeah.
Like why do we care? Why do we need to care about why this person is stealing? Why do we need to care whether or not why this person has coming from a impoverished background? If you're committing a crime, you're committing a crime. I don't care where you're coming from. You committed the crime. The crime requires you to face a consequence, and the consequence is X. The consequences doesn't change because of your circumstance. That's what it is, And I think it's because we've been doing this. This is why we see people think it's okay to do what they do. Yeah. I mean, you were a teacher. I would hate to be a teacher. Unless you were like Samuel L. Jackson in Substitute Teacher 187. You know what I'm talking about?
I know what movie you're talking about. Yeah. I thought it was Coach Carter, right? Or
no, remember Substitute 187 where he played Russian roulette with those essays?
I do remember all three of the Substitute movies.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. That one was wild.
187, let me say.
Yeah, like when he plays Russian roulette in the end, and yeah, it was a dope movie.
Oh, okay. I haven't seen that. I'm gonna check that one out. Yeah, you guys got to get rid of Gavin Newsom, man.
But he's gonna get rid of himself. I think he's gonna end up going up the river.
Well, he almost went to jail last year.
Twice.
I still don't know how he didn't go to jail. And he's up for recall again.
Mm-hmm.
And that's probably going to go through. And they've got another they're going to prosecute him again, more than likely, on this. Is it $25 million or $27 million?
I just want to know where the fuck my train is. Okay,
or
you took my tax money.
Billion, I'm sorry,
you owe me a fucking train. You owe me a fucking train, Gavin.
You were supposed to put a train through California.
So we were supposed to get
speed rail from Southern California, like down
from San Francisco all the way down to San Diego, basically. And it's supposed to be like a bullet train, like you know what they have in like Japan.
Yeah,
they have it's 100 miles of railway.
Yeah, and you know how much they made? They only did like a mile. We only got like a mile of track.
So let me ask you this: I was talking to my barber about that a few weeks ago, and I was saying that one of the reasons why I believe that America doesn't invest. First of all, it's too many damn counties here. So now we're talking about zoning, I guess, but wouldn't it be kind of dangerous to have a bullet train in California? Like you
because of the earthquakes?
No, not the earthquakes, but now you have different populations and cultures of people immediately having access to other cities that they wouldn't really be in. Like if you
the idea of it being like Japan, where you can work in Tokyo, but you can live in like Nanking or something.
But if you have all these problems with crime, wouldn't it be kind of interesting? I mean, wouldn't it be kind of dangerous to have this bullet train that can go from LA to San Diego to, San Francisco?
And drug dealers will love it. It's a great way to.
You are talking about people who don't think about anything.
Well, here's the thing, though. It's
they're worse. I mean, politicians are worse.
But you guys get what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. But here's the thing: San Francisco is no worse than LA. The only difference is you're gonna have different types of gangsters, right?
That's what I'm talking about.
Like, and really, it's not the gangsters that would be able to. We're gonna be using this. This is the high end, bullet train thing. That's for the rich or the well-off business person to help them commute. So you got to figure like the price for the price tag for this thing per ticket is probably not going to be something like $20. You're probably looking at like $150, and up, to cover the cost, to recoup the cost of this, the bullet train that we don't have. So I don't think there would have been that much of an issue in retrospect, because there's not that much of an issue when it comes to gangs out here as it is. For the most part.
Yeah, it's not like the 90s, right?
Yeah, it's not like the 90s. And a lot of the shot callers already like have a lot of truce going on. A lot of like Bloods and Crips are working with each other in many different like things that they're working on. Like there's a lot of collaboration, and it's actually more of a race thing, a more race collaboration than it is a gang collaboration. Before it was gang, now it's more like you see more like Bloods and Crips that are happen to be black are collaborating together and
yeah, I get what you're saying, but I feel like the reason why a bullet train works in Japan or China, and this is what we talked about before, Grit, is because those are homogenous societies. But imagine if you had a bullet train in America, and I hate the stereotype, but imagine some dudes from the south side of Chicago, they get on the train and they go to Montana, and now they could just have easy access to a place that, and not to say that people in Montana are soft, but they could go there and cause all types of havoc in Bozeman or something. They just take something. I don't know. I've always thought America is so different.
The train in Japan is like the tickets are like super expensive. The average person only goes on it like once or twice a year to go visit family.
Yeah.
If you're commuting on it, your company's paying for that.
Yep.
Got a corporate rate.
I thought it was just.
It's not like the subway, man. It ain't like the subway where you go to the machine and get $1, $2, you get a one-way pass. No, I ain't like it.
No, like those things. It's gonna be. It would probably be equivalent to a one-way plane ticket.
Okay.
Yeah,
does that make sense? Like
that it won't be like the city bus. So
yeah. No.
Okay.
And I don't even know people that use city transportation. I've seen some crazy shit.
I've actually taken the train from San Francisco, or from Hayward, where I was to Sacramento. I did that once.
Yeah, see, I like Sacramento. When I lived in Sacramento, it was beautiful back then. Now it's just all bad. You know, it's.
You just described all of California.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, here's the sad thing. You know what? When Victorville looks good.
That's true. When Bakersfield is starting to make sense.
When Victorville starts looking good, you know fucking California is going bad.
Yeah.
And see, like, here's the thing. I don't think they have no intention on addressing anything. They need it to double down. They need it to go bankrupt. I swear to you, I think their goal is to go bankrupt. And I think that's part of the why we see these woke ass movies, because you understand that these studios get tax breaks from the state, right? And if they don't make no money, the state can't get no taxes. We're going broke. And California is so close to just being.
Well, you're going to hit a sore subject, man, because California, money from every state in the union goes to California.
Yeah, to support California.
To support California.
And although California is like the second largest
there we go.
Economic whatever in the fifth one in the world.
Yeah.
And the only way that is because we take everybody else's money. I mean, we some gangsters, but
true. That's exactly right. Michigan Christian was curious what you think of Thomas Sowell, Larry Elder, and other black leaders. He's met Candace at CPAC after following her early work. So what do you got there?
Well, Thomas Sowell and Larry Elder are incredible examples of not just black people, but men or Americans in this country. So I think very highly of them. Candace is another individual that I've done plenty of live streams about. And I think that women should model themselves after Candace. She speaks very clear. She's very intelligent.
She articulate,
well read, and she dresses very conservative. I feel like, why isn't she being asked to be on Vogue and all these other magazines, or I don't even know if they still even really do magazines, but why isn't she asked to be the forefront of elegance and grace for women, or even young women, to be honest with you? Because right now what we see are whores being.
She's a really good role model for young women. I mean, they're doing a disservice to young women. But see, this goes back to what I said. Women don't care about women, and men don't care about women. And that's just the reality of it. Yeah. And when I mean by that, I'm talking about the young women. I'm talking about the young women. They don't care about the future generation. That's the sad thing.
And to further, and you correct, and to further answer the question, what was the guy's name again?
Believe in yourself.
Michigan Christian.
Michigan. And Michigan. And to address the whole thing about black leaders, I don't view them or anyone as a black leader. I don't think people should. I think people should drop the whole leadership. I mean, just me, but I think grown people don't need leaders, in my opinion. Right? I don't need a leader, but I do think very highly of those people, especially Larry Elder.
You think grown people do not need mentors?
Well, I mean, if you are an individual, like for example, right, if you are going into law school at 30 and you say, you know what, I want a mentor that's an attorney, an older person, then I can understand that. Oh yeah, I've seen people do that, right? I've seen people go to school late in life, and not there's anything wrong with it, but they go for a law degree, CPA or whatever, and they'll find somebody older that's in that field. And if that person is mentoring you, yeah, that's fine. Mm-hmm. But I feel like the word leader is being used here like in somebody needs a child. That's why I never got into the whole leadership thing with black people. Yeah, but no.
What do you think about like Jason Whitlock? What do you think about Whitlock?
It's funny because I know Steve Kim, and
okay,
yeah. So me and Steve, we tweet to a direct messages. all the time. But I think Jason Whitlock is a very, very incredible person, man. He's old school. He keeps it real, man. He doesn't sugarcoat. He doesn't want to make you feel good. He just tells it like it is about
Yeah,
society.
he's really direct with it. Pearl and I were in Tennessee, in Nashville, in the March, when she did the debate with Michael Knowles, and I was her producer, so I traveled with her. And Whitlock was such a cool dude. Like, he was a really cool dude, really humble dude, down to earth, nice studio. Really just, I mean, I've always watched him. I've watched him. I remember him when he was covering sports.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I think he's one of the few, like, solid, and it's not black or white, I'm just saying solid male commentators.
Yeah.
That it's not afraid to just say it how it is sometimes. And he doesn't play like, he doesn't pick sides. That's the one thing I like about him. He really doesn't pick sides. He will call this person out, whether they were cool or not, and he will call his enemy out the same way. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
I gotta ask, what do you think about Jesse Lee Pearson?
I think Jesse Lee Peterson. I mean, to be frank with you, I think that I'm pretty sure he's made enough money to not turn the camera on anymore, or not. I think that I don't know, man. It seems like he might have some sort of cognitive thing probably going on. Maybe, you know, I don't know. He just seems real repetitive at this point, and I think it might be maybe age or some sort of, I don't want to say Alzheimer's is setting in, but it's some sort of early stage of something, in my opinion. I think, but before that, I think he's, you know, he was always controversial and funny, but I think it might be something else going on with him. But I don't think a lot of people even talk about that, but he's becoming really repetitive. It's like when you
erratic.
Like,
I think the word
like okay, Grandpa, thank you, man. It's like one of those, man. Yeah.
I think he's probably paying off a lot of the scandals that he's, you know, been attacked with. If anything, why he's working still, because I know what you're talking about. It seems like there's like you remember dial up when your computer was loading up and it was just like it took a little longer. Like it was just like
a good example.
Like he's like
man, I resemble that remark. Take it easy. Take it easy.
Yeah.
Like when he's processing the information people are telling him, it's just like it's real slow to process.
Yeah. And there's some things that he doesn't even get. Like, you know, there's a lot of things he doesn't get. So I think it might be something else going on with him, man. But you know, other than that, I actually like Jesse Lee Peterson. Yeah.
I think his takes are good. I just don't know. Like, I mean, I really hope for his sake none of those accusations are true.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like he's one of the few like outspoken Black Christian men that didn't go power bottom like TD Jakes did. But then when Jesse Lee accusations come out, it's like, oh man, not him too. But he's been fighting them. Like he's not hiding or running away from him. So I'm starting to be more inclined to think that those were just a way to try to get a money grab.
Could be. I mean, I don't know. I heard about it, but I'm more or less to the point where if it's no, I mean, you know, what he does is what he does, but if I don't really have facts or evidence, I don't really get into all that. Yeah, I'm like that. Yeah. Hey, go ahead, Greg.
You look like you're ready to
call No. You got, because I want to ask you a few questions actually.
Okay, let me answer this.
Okay,
if you open a business in California, those taxes follow you forever. Yes, absolutely, they do.
Yep.
I closed a business in 2014 in California. I still, to this day, they try and tax me on it, and I talk to the same guy every year, and I remind him that the business is now a parking lot. And he's like, oh, yeah, that's right. You made me drive by there. I'm like, yeah, I did. Every year I tell you the same thing. Stop trying to tax me on something that doesn't even exist anymore. It's a parking lot. And I'm not even lying. I'll give you the address. You can go right by there. Look at it.
You know, it's funny. Like my business license is not in, I live in California, but my business license is not out of
don't
California.
do that, man. Don't do that to yourself. But all right, you wanted to ask me some questions. All right, I'm
Yeah,
cool with
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's a personal question, but is your wife an atheist?
No.
Okay, well, yeah, her being from China, I don't know why I assume that a lot of them are atheists.
No,
Well, they
actually,
are.
that's a good question because that's
A lot of them are.
predominantly, yeah.
A lot of them are spiritual and tend towards Buddhism if they're exposed to it.
Mm-hmm.
They're not technically atheists because they are spiritual. They just
Right.
don't have any specific thing that they believe in.
Yeah.
And then if they find Christ, they tend to really become good Christians.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
yeah, it's a lot of underground Christianity in China, man. I've seen several.
the churches, the Lutherans have been over there for a while. The Lutherans didn't do them any real favors, but the pardon me. But the Chinese government in and of itself doesn't really care about religion.
There was a time when they were against it, like pretty
that's
thick,
been a
right?
while ago.
That was like in the 80s, right?
Yeah, well, it was
80s.
it was before they opened the country back up. What people don't realize about China is they will literally just shut the country down, like nobody in, nobody out, like they did back in the 50s and early 60s. Like nobody goes in, nobody comes out. Like people escape. Like that's what's that? There's an actor that famously escaped from China, swam across from Hong Kong to Taiwan. And he was in or not Hong Kong, but near Hong Kong, and to Taiwan on like a basketball or something, using it as a float. And he came to the U.S. and he became a star. But and I don't know how much of that story is embellished, because he's an actor, but it's a famous story because that was the truth. Even if you had money, you weren't leaving. Right. And they're really close to doing it again. The thing about the Chinese government is they consider the exposure to the West to be contaminating their society and turning it degenerate, right? Where they didn't have these women running around in short skirts. Now they got they got half a town doing a TikTok dance and where you can see their underwear and they don't like that. Like you think we think of traditional, and then there is traditional. Yeah. Right. And so and it's a real thing. And I don't agree with it. I don't disagree with it. I'm completely neutral on it. It really doesn't affect my life at all. But they are perfectly capable of shutting the country down, just like they've done it 3 or 4 times in history. And I mean, for like 20 years, nobody goes in, nobody comes out. They'll kick all of the ambassadors out. They'll just shut down. I mean, they've already and what the thinking a few years ago was it doesn't matter because we have the internet, and once you have the internet and Wi-Fi, what does it matter? But they shut YouTube down and Google. Google cannot operate in China.
Yep.
You think about that. They want to, but they can't. Google, who one day is going to take over the planet, right? That's why I'm on Android. I don't want to show my future overlords disloyalty, right? Like that's why I don't mess with Apple because when Google buys Apple, that's when the Holocaust starts. I'm being funny right now. I joke with my wife's Apple everything and I'm Android everything. So,
Interesting, right? Interesting.
But yeah, I don't my wife I believe considers herself Christian now. She is religious up to a point, but they have a very hard line where the practicality of money and family and all of that takes over, right? So yeah, I don't know.
Chaotic. Do you hold a belief system?
Yeah, I believe that no one actually knows what the hell is actually really going on. I say it all the time on my channel.
Mm-hmm.
I believe in the institution of Christianity, and what I mean is we can't deny the works of the actual church itself. I mean, the universities that were created, the
Yeah,
hospitals, the philanthropic organizations. I could even argue and say Christianity civilized a large portion of the planet.
it did. Yeah,
Now, in terms of the actual spirituality of it,
yeah.
I again, nobody really knows. This is really faith. For all we
Well,
know,
it,
Jesus.
it is faith. You're right.
Yeah, for all we know, Jesus could have been a time traveler. Jesus could have been an alien. Jesus could have been. It's all
At
in
least,
interpretation.
at least you're not denying the existence of Jesus.
No. And I grew up in a Baptist church, so I was in church all the
Yeah.
time. It's just that, and I used to get my ass beat for asking these types of questions. Pow! Don't ask that. And what it is that nobody really knows, and I know I don't. I was born in '84, and so I think it's
That's a good year.
disservice. Yeah, it's a disservice for people to tell you what Jesus was, and it's like you were born in 1975. How do you know? How do you know more than I do, or how do you know more than somebody who's born in 1969? It's just all a game of telephone. And the one thing I can say is that in my opinion, right, it's all faith and it's all an interpretation of what you, if you could read and you read the Bible, and it's really, in my opinion, just an interpretation. And there's so many stories in the Bible that I've even talked about on my channel that it's all an interpretation. A lot of them are just allegory, in my opinion, and just stories for you to learn from. But yeah, I no, I don't deny it at all. How can I deny it? It may be true. Maybe
Yeah,
true.
like I so for me, like I grew up in the church as well as you did. And for me, I look at it as I agree with what you said. Like you can't deny the good that Christianity has done. It definitely has civilized the majority of the world. I think for me, I think for our generation, because I was born in '84 too.
Okay.
You know, Summer Olympics '84.
There we go.
And I don't think that we kind of got robbed, because when we were born, the churches were no longer preaching the original like theology. In '84, that's when we started seeing the egalitarian church be accepted, like the egalitarian doctrine. And then later on in like '89, that's when the complementarian doctrine was, accepted. So we kind of, our generation and now have been robbed of like this original theology, the way I look at it. I have a degree in religion, so I mean that was one of my things when I was coming up. I was a youth pastor, so, and it's something that always bothered me, because like I could see what you're saying, like, hey, nobody really knows, and it's true, no one knows, can say without a shadow of a doubt that they know for certain. And I say, well, you know what, it takes the same amount of faith to believe in God as it is to believe in science. Like you can't prove gravity. Have you seen gravity?
I don't think anybody ever has.
Okay, then, but you believe in gravity, right?
Yeah, I've accepted it as a fact. Yeah, yeah, I've accepted it, right? Yeah, isn't that crazy?
And why can't we accept God as a fact? Because
I mean, that's a good question, man. I mean, that's why I don't deny it. That's why. Yeah.
But yeah, no, because like you could tell that you have when you talk, you have like a very you have like a Christian base to it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And your fun and in your arguments and your talking points. So that's why I was wondering.
Oh yeah. Yeah, man, I grew up in a Baptist church, man. I'm telling you, man. And I think that Christianity is an incredible religion, man. An incredible institution, man. An incredible institution. And
I think it's been perverted as of late. Like we're seeing it getting really tainted these days. With feminism, with all this other nonsense.
Well, this is why I always say, we were talking about Imperius, and me and Imperius go back at it, and you know, and Paris, you know, you complain about the illegals, you complain about this. This is the perfect time for you. And he says he's a Catholic, but this and there's other Christians who call into the show. Well, it seems like this would be the perfect opportunity for you guys to go evangelize. If you got all these, if you're saying that the church has been tainted, it would seem that you should.
Well, actually, I think it's that we actually need to do work in the church first.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying, to fix the institution of. I was about to say that. Yeah. So I was saying it's easy to be a saint in heaven or a saint in paradise, but right now, maybe this is the perfect time to evangelize. Right now.
I think that's like the harvest. You know, this is the time we need to get ready for the harvest, right? Like, so, you know, like farmers would have to sometimes build up more storage, right? More spaces to store the harvest, the things that they're bringing in from the harvest, right? Sometimes they're gonna have to tear down walls, and they're gonna have to rebuild walls. They're gonna have to re-establish the foundation of these things before they could bring in the harvest, you know, before it gets for the winter, right? That's what I think we're kind of in a build. We're in like a rebuilding stage. You know, I think we need more Nehemiahs. Like the story of Nehemiah, he was the one. Yeah. And I think that's the season, if anything, Christians ought to look like we're in. Not complain about everything. Okay. It's like, okay, we know this shit is fucked. What are we gonna do about it? Are we gonna bitch about it? Or are we gonna, you know, grab that sword, grab that shovel, and go build something?
Glenn, I call out conservatives just as much as I call out liberals. And I say,
same here.
All you Bible thumping conservatives that get on here, hey man, some of these illegals, now you guys call them savages. I bet Jesus would have been at wherever these people are at. Why don't you go evangelize and make sure that they are civilized enough to be in this country? Yeah.
Somebody actually called me out on my show one night. Somebody actually called me out on my show one night, and they asked me something about why why I feel the way I do about, you know, like I believe that we shouldn't help them. I believe that, you know, they need, you know, I don't have any I don't have anything else for them. They need to just be moved out. Along the lines of the way you feel about a lot of the blacks, right? Just go away, you know. And they'll say that's not very Christian of you. I'm like, I know, I'm a failed Christian. I understand. I admit all the time I'm not a very good Christian. That's just you asked me the way I feel about it, and that's the way I feel about it. I'm sure I'm wrong, but you didn't ask me to be right about it, you know.
Yeah, I think like, you know, I think there's a lot of white people though, like we should get rid of too, though.
Yeah.
Like, well, there's a lot of people everywhere. I think we
you don't want
to put me in charge of that.
If women want to have abortions, and you know, like they say they get rid of like babies because they can't fend for themselves, can I do the same thing with homeless folk? Like that's how I look at it, because I'm tired of all of them pooping everywhere.
See, that's not and it's weird because it's like, dang, I guess that's a major problem on the West Coast, man. Because
it is really bad, but and I mean that, and I don't really mean that.
I know what you mean.
But like, if their argument is a baby can't fend for themselves and take care of themselves, and they need the mother to feed them and take care of them, well, then all the homeless people on the street also need the government, Big Daddy, to feed them and take care of them. So then, can we abort them too? Right? Like, if that's the principle of it, and they'll say, well, no, that's wrong, it's horrible. Well, why not? It's acceptable for you. You know, so it's either one or the other. But you know, I think that I don't have a problem with some of these illegals. I mean, I understand that a lot of them are, some of them are doing the horrible crimes and doing some really fucked up shit. But then you know what? I know one guy, he's an electrician, and he's the hardest fucking working man I have seen. He's my neighbor. He's always fucking putting in work and, you know, taking care of his family. He's not one of the bad ones or whatever. You know, he's came over here with the purpose. And it's like, I don't think we should lose those ones. Those are the good ones.
So Siege D sends in $4.99. Thanks for joining Gridstream Chaotic Truth. Shout out to pastor producer Glenn Lawrence.
Don't start that
Siege,
again.
you know better. You know better. And our based Aussie lady friend Jess as well, who's probably making breakfast right now. Thank you for the $4.99, Siege. I really appreciate
guys,
it.
I gotta get some sleep.
Yeah,
Glenn,
get some sleep. Man.
Salute to you, man. It was great being
Hey,
on, man.
Always great. Always happy to be on your
No,
show,
I can't
man. I'm
hear
really
you.
glad that you make that that opportunity available. Oh, I was saying that I'm really happy to be on your show. I'm really glad that you make that opportunity available.
Oh yeah, definitely, man. Yeah, anytime, man. Just let me know.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I would love for you to get that one chick on again. I would love to have a one-on-one conversation. Yes.
Yeah. Anna's real entertaining, man.
She is hilarious.
Oh, Moxie hates me now, by the way.
Why does Moxie hate you? Moxie likes me.
Yeah.
She's like, Moxie sent me one of her videos that she just posted. It's good.
So Moxie, I called Moxie Rosie Perez. Rosie Perez was super hot back in the day.
Yeah.
I watched got offended, maybe because she's Puerto Rican. And then she had the nerve to call me. Well, what if I called you Shaka Zulu? I said Shaka Zulu. Yeah. I don't know if you guys know who Shaka Zulu is.
I know who Shaka Zulu.
King, baby. King.
Yeah, he was a king. Yeah. All right, guys. I gotta get up out of here.
Bed, man. Get out of here. Go away.
Have a good one, guys. Peace.
You have a great night, man.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Grid, you want me to show you Jess's video?
Yeah, man.
All right. It's an exclusive. This is going to be a trend. Bear with me. It's loading up.
I'm bearing. A shout out to all the great people out in the chat tonight. It's been great tonight. I know that our attendance is down a little bit. Andrew's out there doing a TikTok invasion right now. I know, and Rob Knorr was on earlier, so I get it, guys. Those dudes are out there killing it, and or they were, and I'm just glad that so many of you decided to be here.
All right, I'm sharing it. You just tell me when to hit play.
There you go.
Song about bowing to the patriarchy. Everyone must bow to the patriarchy. How every nation bow to the patriarchy. How every woman bow to the patriarchy.
To the patriarchy and men. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the bow.
Song about bowing to the patriarchy. Everyone must bow to the patriarchy. How every nation bow to the patriarchy. How every woman will bow to the patriarchy.
Here we go. The bow to the patriarchy. There's the one.
And now what's the two?
Song about bowing to the patriarchy. Everyone must bow to the patriarchy. How every nation bow to the patriarchy. How every woman will bow to the patriarchy. Song about bowing to the patriarchy. Everyone must bow to the patriarchy. How every nation bow to the patriarchy. How everyone will bow to the patriarchy.
That was royal.
See, it's a trend. We got to get it going again. How do I stop the sharing? Cancel. Stop sharing. End. All right. There we go.
Jess, are you still awake?
She sleep.
She fell asleep.
Mm-hmm.
She fell asleep.
So I wanted to see if you wanted to talk about the topic that you were originally going to talk about, because that was been on my mind. I was thinking about it, like,
Yeah, I do, but I'm about to. We're approaching our.
You're cut off.
Third hour. Our third hour. We didn't do callers tonight because we had callers from the word go, which I did invite. I invited Chaotic. I just didn't know that he was going to show up, so I went ahead with the topic.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about it.
We can just do another day. Just do it for another day.
I've got guys tomorrow. If I'm not ill, if I'm not sick, because I haven't coughed in a little bit, but I've been like chewing ice and shit. So,
That's no bueno.
yeah, man. Kids, man, little germ factories,
little germ incubators.
That's it, man. That's it.
I nearly forgot I was up here.
Oh,
Forgot you were there.
My man had to remember. They're talking to you up there, and I was like, "Oh, are they?" Because I've been sitting here for so long. I was like, forgot I was even here.
You went to sleep, didn't you? It's okay. You can admit it.
Oh, nearly a couple of times.
All right. Crazy Mama. Yes, my set did change. This is a interim version. I should have one of the last 2 or 3 pieces again to come in tomorrow. Then it'll be up tomorrow at some point. Whether or not we do a show tomorrow and you can see it, I don't know. But yeah, I'm refining it still. I don't really like the white background. I may go to a gray or black. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. And I'm always evolving. I'm always evolving. And I know it looks like a propeller, Mr. Propeller Head. It's cool. You can. I knew it when I did it. I was like, that's gonna make me look like Mr. Propeller Head. So I coined this term because based on the artwork that my AI spit out, I was like, that's pretty cool. So we went ahead with that idea. But as you may have heard, I very often say, when I ask someone how their day is going, I usually say something like, how goes the war? Or, how's the battle? Whatever. And and I do that because I've always viewed life and business and everything else as war. I'm not going outside peacefully and just goofing off. We're getting things done. We're doing battle. And so I think that there are women out there that kind of do the same thing. Maybe not with their husbands, obviously, but like my wife has a very serious job. Arthur Daya, you have a very serious job. Where does that? Yeah, I know she's. Yeah. So, for women that have these really serious jobs and or careers or are running a household with 3 teenagers or something like that, where things are really it's serious, it's hard work, it requires effort, and it requires a certain amount of discipline and a certain amount of I really hate coughing.
Don't die in us now.
I'm not going to die. A certain amount of drive, I guess, so the and so I know that most people don't think of getting up every day and going to work as being war, but that is kind of what's going on. Some women are better at it than others. My wife, I consider honestly, I consider my wife a warrior. I mean, she goes out every day and she does battle with giants of industry. And she is submissive with me. We are, she is that soft compassion. And this all kind of actually stems from a conversation that Glenn and I had earlier. I don't know if it was today. It might have been yesterday, where we were talking about how, I think it was yesterday, where we were talking about the about how my wife submits to me, but nobody else. And, there's a lot of women or a lot of men that seem to think that all women should be submissive all the time. And I don't think that that's true. And I think that, and it was interesting because, and I don't know that I made a big deal about it when we talked about it yesterday, but that is something that I've heard from a few red pill or red pill adjacent content creators about, they basically they can sleep with any woman they want. Women are to be submissive. They're to be seen, not heard. Yada 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 yada. Why would a woman want to have a job? Why would all of this stuff? And so this is just something I want to talk about. And I'd really like, and I actually was kind of happy to have Jess come up tonight. I wanted her opinion. We may have Arthur Daya come up and talk about it, and we may do that Friday. Because see red pill meatheads, that's funny. You're not wrong. We may try and do that on Friday because on Saturday I'm supposed to have Joe Mobley on the show. That will be just like we had Chaotic Truth on tonight, and the and so I want to. I'd really like to have a really good show about this when I can talk. I will. I'll make it now. Joe Mobley. He's a black guy from Virginia who can trace his lineage back, I think, to to the people who bought him or bought his family. And he's a really good guy. He had a really big radio show. He was syndicated. He was pretty big on YouTube, and then for some reason, probably because he's a conservative, they nuked his channel, and he he only does Rumble now. But we're gonna pull him over here. We're gonna to the cesspool of YouTube, and get him over here, and we're gonna have a great conversation. He's a super cool dude. Yeah, he's ex-military, I believe, and I mean he's just a super cool dude. He does Defense Department stuff that he can't talk about. So, so we're going to talk about all maybe Friday night we'll do like half. We'll cover this first, and then we'll do the last half. The last half of the night is a chill stream. I'm going to call it a night. Obviously, I'm coughing and just, my kids have given me some kind of upper respiratory infection, and I'm going to go.
Little rat bastards.
It's part of having kids.
Have fun with that. They're good. They're good for that.
Yeah. Well, that's the only thing I can think of because I haven't been anywhere or done anything except been in either in the house or in the studio. And the only people I've been around are my kids. So.
Well, that sucks.
Yeah.
Hopefully not. Hopefully it's just
it could
some
just
allergies or something.
Yeah, no, I don't have allergies, so automatically L on that one. But yeah, so we'll reconvene maybe tomorrow at noon as normal. Maybe not. I will make an announcement. You guys have a great rest of your evening. I'm not gonna do a redirect or anything. You guys go have fun. I believe Andrew is doing a TikTok invasion, so go hang out with Andrew. Tell him I sent you.
Thanks, Grid.
Get off my lawn. Go away. Leave me alone. See you guys.